Hey everybody, welcome to Urban Economic Empowerment Show. All right, so we only gonna be on for probably 1 hour, okay? 1 hour, because I have a huge event I have to get ready for in Lithonia, Georgia. So I can't be messing around all day. Okay. And I always do this. Let me fix the darn. Oh gosh. Yeah, but I'm about to make this butter. I'm gonna show you how to do it. All right. My title is Oh So Wrong. All right, so let me just get right to it. So for you all, yeah, I already got another one for you. Put it to the house, and when you need something, get me to start doing it. Okay. All right. So there's a lot of the websites has changed when it comes down to SAMs and uh, how to look for contracts and Department of Labor Wage and Determination, all that great stuff, right? So for those of you who have a business and those of you who are interested in doing business with the government, you have to make sure you are up on these sites. So let me go ahead and share my screens. I'm only going to do an hour, so let's get right into it. Share my screen, and I'm going to come back tonight and do a show late night. And interview Asar. I got some business questions for him, but I'll talk about that later. So you guys up, you late night hour folks, I have something to do. All right, so for those of you who have your SAM's registrations, you know you have to register every year. And SAM is now beta.sam.gov, okay? Beta.sam.gov. All right. So they're doing some maintenance. I may not be able to do anything today. They're doing some maintenance. But anyway, I'm just going to show you. The SAM's website has changed and it is integrated all now with beta.sam.gov. Okay. So as you can see, you will see SAM's that populates on the first page. And what used to be FBO, remember you used to talk about that. FBO.gov is now on beta.sam.gov. Contract data, if you're looking for the contract, previous contracts, how much was awarded, the contract officer's name, the contacts and things of that nature, that's that website. Then you got your wage determination, the Department of Labor. I teach that in the classes that I give when I'm going through the proposals. That's here now. The archives are here, federal archives. Then the CFDA.gov. This is the grants information assistance list. That's there. Your disaster relief registration to register an entity. That's first and apparent. You see it? Then your SARS reporting, entity reporting, you click here, you can find that quickly, and your excursions, you can find that quickly. So they have it all on the first page. And so when we first visited the beta.sam.gov, it didn't look like this. It was different. It had a different interface. Okay, so now they've made some changes. You're gonna register your SAM. You go here, right? Go to your checklist there. On the right, scroll down. All right. You can see a whole bunch of different announcements, see all the different changes that they were making. Okay, so make sure you come and you visit this page and register your entity. All right, so let's go as if we were going to look for a contract. Click here, contract opportunities. These are governmental contracts. Bam, if you notice a solicitation number, you could put it here. If you know the NAICS code, you could put it there, right? You can also visit the grants.gov site. It gives you the opportunity to click there for that. Gives you a whole bunch of different resources. Let me scroll back up. Let's see. All right, so let's click the plus. Same thing. It'll give you a little list of different deals, but I want to look for the contracts. So let's do, all right. So if you wanted to do any filters, you see how it had the little downplay, down arrow, or this plus arrow to allow you to expand it. You can click here, right? Let's click on set asides. Set asides are the government certifications. So if I talk a lot about the set asides, small business, woman owned, Indian owned, veteran owned, all of that. So there's a knowledge based center that talks about that information. Let's go back. All right, so if you click advanced search, it'll give you opportunity to set some filters. Yep. All right. So yeah, you can leave that on there. Okay. Put the top back on, close it, and let it blend. Just put it on low. Okay. And then bring me the oils. The all right. So you want to choose a federal organization? You can click it there, or I like to search by NAT code. If you know your NAT code, it makes it really easy. Okay. Or because we're certified, I like to do the certification, and we're service disabled veteran certified. So when I click here, it'll give me all the different entities, all the different contracts and solicitations in reference to that. Okay, let me take that out. Let's say you don't really know and you were interested. Let's say janitorial. A lot of people are into that. All right. So if you're into cleaning, boom, and you just put it wide open, it's going to give all the different cleaning contracts and where they're located. Now, I'm going to throw in a bonus for you today. If you're going to do contracts with the government and you have never written a proposal and you're wanting to know what exactly should you be putting in those proposals, a good thing is to go and find a solicitation that has one. All right. I don't really like this one. Let me see. Maybe I will. And you want to look for its scope of work, right? So when you click on it, it'll bring you here. It'll give you information. And you want to stroll down and you want to look for the attachments. And now they're zipping them. So boom, you'd have to hit download. They're putting them in zip files now. It'll give you the point of contact of the person, the phone number, the email, and everything. You want to build yourself a database. If you want to just go and do a whole bunch of market researches, you could create your capability statement and you could get to start putting in for these things. So I'm gonna go here. Is this the one I want? I don't think this is it. Let's see what just zipped. What just zip? What just zip? There it is. All right. But you probably don't have it closed all the way. Okay, that one won't open. Is this it? Nope. Nope, 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 nope. That one's not opening. Let's try it again. Oh, it might be no longer available. Okay, let's get out of this one. Let's go back. Let's find us another one. Hold on one second, y'all. Not gonna plug it in. All right.
You supposed to do this?
Yeah. Let's do cleaning. Let's put in cleaning and see what we come up with. All right. So this is an 8A set aside. We don't want that. Let's scroll down. Warehouse cleaning services. Parts washer. Here we go. Let's try this one. Custodian, West Point, custodian services. All right. Let's go down. And basically what I'm looking for, here we go. All right. So they have their attachments and they have the zip. Yeah. Let me see. That one. Let me see it. It's open. They already open. You should see. They already open. Nope. Get the one that's already open. It's sitting right on the side. Look for the one that's already been used.
All of them that's already?
Yeah. Not the tall is only one tall when the rest of them are short. All right, so let's find the document. Supplies and services. We want the price list. Let's try this one. We're looking for the solicitation. So I want to show you how to build your technical. So 5 pages. So this is the questions. So we don't want this one. Let's try this one. I think these are amendments.
Yeah.
Yep, that one, that one, that one.
Okay.
5 squares and a little short one. That one you gotta speak. You see that little silver bowl? You're gonna pour it in there. So I'm gonna show you. Go ahead, go get it. All right, so we gotta look with the one that doesn't have a number. There it is. All right. The rest of them that has 1s and 2s and 3s and things of that nature are amendments. So when you pull a solicitation, you're looking for the scope of work. Leave it like that because you're gonna want it. Just put a little bit more. Matter of fact, you can leave that in there. Go put it in the water. Let it sit in the water. You know what? John dropped it. See if you can clean it out. No, it's stuck. Let me see. Oh yeah, put it in the water.
Put it in the water like that?
Uh-huh.
Just sit in there?
It's gonna warm up. You can stop that. All right. What's up, Chris?
What's up, Mo?
So let's look for the scope of work. That's what we're looking for. All right, right here. So if you were going to put a proposal together for yourself or your company, the best place to get your content is from a federal solicitation because it has a lot of the meat and potatoes of what you would actually need. So when you look at the scope of work, they're telling you exactly what they want you to do for that building. See how they list out each deal? This is how you want to put your proposal together, your technical together. And the only thing you want to do is just copy and paste it. Boom. All this matters. And you would tailor it to what you would do in your company. All of this. All of this has to be in your solicitation. Copy and paste this and read it paragraph for paragraph and make it yours. All of this. You see what I'm saying? This is what they're looking for. They will go through yours and you could beautify it, make it look the way you want to. All of this information is how you want to go through. You get what I'm saying? You got your clippers? Right? This is how you would do it. You would go through this, you would see what they would be looking for, and then you would tailor your proposal to make it look like that. Add that information in. That's how you would do it. All right, let me go back to another one. What's up, Chris? So I'm just sharing the fact that the federal websites have changed. So if you all have SAM's registrations or you're looking to find out how do you go to look for contracts and things of that nature,
we're not friends, we're not close, but dude, this
they've changed. So what's up? You want to talk about anything in the market?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Hold on, Mo. Hold on.
All right.
How long that stay on there?
Look and see if it liquefied.
All right.
All right. So that's the biggest update and biggest change. Hope you guys update your registrations, your annual registrations. What's up, Chris? What you want to talk about? I'm not I'm not gonna stay long because I'm gonna interview Asar tonight on business. You gonna come back on? It's gonna be late.
What time though?
11:30 late.
Sure, I might be asleep. I gotta get up at 4.
Oh, you gonna be late. Yeah, I need to talk to him in reference to some business.
Okay.
So I just what's up?
Let's talk about did you listen to the Fed meeting?
Nope, but you did. So let's talk about it.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Give me some nuggets.
Well, let's start with rates.
Okay.
Okay,
Rates.
this is what go hold on. Let me post the article. Let me post the article in the chat. That way we can just read through it.
All right.
Oh, and Acorns is going public as well.
Yes, Acorn is going public.
I think that's next year. Next year. Maybe possibly next year. Maybe before. Okay. Let's see. Let's send this.
They doing a SPAC merger.
Yes, they with Pioneer Group or something like that. But they will be
Acorn goes public in 2.2 billion SPAC merger. Company has 4 million users for its fintech and investment platform.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get the report it up. All right. So financial technical company Acorn's growth plans to go public through a merger with a blank check company that will value the digital investment platform about 2.2 billion. Pioneer Merger Corp, PACXU, a special purpose acquisition company, announced its intention to merge with Acorns in a Thursday filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission. The deal has been approved by the boards of both companies and is expected to close in the second half of the year. Bam, there it is.
Yep.
So how we gonna get in it? What is gonna go? How we gonna? It's gonna. What's the other company? We should look for that in the OTC or something.
Yes, right there, Pioneer Merger Corp.
Let me click on it.
But they gonna have their own ticker though. The ticker is gonna be Oaks.
I know, but should we get? Oh, okay. So it's not gonna be this one.
No, this is the company they merging with.
Okay.
I mean, you can purchase that company if you want to, but
You think they make a move?
I mean, you probably can make some money off of it, but
There's something.
Yep.
All right. What's the other thing you want me to
Okay.
go to?
Okay, I put the link in the chat.
What
In
chat?
the
Oh,
messenger
Lord.
group. I mean,
why you put it in the Zoom chat?
man, I don't be using that chat like that.
All right,
But
hold on.
right here, let me get it in.
I got it. I'll put it. You gonna put it in there?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in there. So I post this. chat. There we go. Damn. Oh no. Okay. I almost hit the wrong button. Yeah, this had the market kind of going crazy. And where everybody at?
I don't know.
This ain't them.
Yeah, but you might not have enough. How many you got right there?
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, it's in there. So you can get it now. It's in the chat.
All right.
So read that. And you can play that video if you want. You on mute. Oh.
Hold up, Chris. Is it opening? Oh, there you go. Can you hear me? Or the blender too loud?
No, I can hear you.
All right. The Federal Reserve now forecasts at least 2 rate hikes by the end of 2023. Okay, here's the key points. Wednesday's forecast showed 13 members of the Open Federal Market Committee believe the Fed will increase rates in 2023, and the majority of them believe the central bank will hike at least twice that year. In fact, 7 of the 18 members see the Fed possibly increasing rates as early as 2022. The Fed also sharply increased its inflation forecast for the year. You know, if I am playing, but I have to unshare the screen.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Okay, hold on. Let me unshare.
Oh, shoot. I'll be right back. Come on.
Smell good? Go ahead, rock and roll. Is it enough? All right. Hold on, Chris is about to play.
Did you know that your toughest cleaning problems can be caused by...
Oh, after the ad.
If you can walk us through expectations you
Here.
have, specifically when it comes to the labor market going into 2023. And I'm curious about people who may have left the labor market, who have yet to come back, or who may face issues with childcare, perhaps they've retired early. Any barriers that you see keeping people from the labor market as you consider full employment going into 2023? Thank you.
Thank you. So I would say if you look at the labor market and you look at the demand for workers and the level of job creation and think ahead, I think it's clear, and I am confident that we are on a path to a very strong labor market, a labor market that shows low unemployment, high participation, rising wages for people across the spectrum. I mean, I think that's shown in our projections. It's shown in outside projections. And if you look through the current time frame and think 1 and 2 years out, we're going to be looking at a very, very strong labor market. In terms of exactly what that means, we'll have to see how things evolve. I think we learned during the course of the last very long expansion, the longest in our history, that labor supply during a long expansion can exceed expectations, can move above its estimated trend. And I have no reason to think that that won't happen again. At the same time, we have seen, in terms of participation, we've seen a significant number of people retire. And so we don't actually know exactly what labor force participation will be as we go forward, but I would tend to look at it and think that it can return to high levels, although it may take some time to do that. But overall, this is going to be a very strong labor market. In terms of the near term, you ask as well. So we see a couple of things, a few things that seem likely to be holding back labor supply. There are very large amounts of job openings, and there are a very large number of people who are unemployed. And the pace of filling those jobs is somehow feels slower than it might be. So I point to a number of things. The first of which is just that most of the act of sort of going back to one's old job, that's kind of already happened. So this is a question of people finding a new job. And that's just a process that takes longer. There may be something of a speed limit on it. You've got to find a job where your skills match what the employer wants. It's got to be in the right area. There's just a lot that goes into the function of finding a job. So that's sort of a natural thing. In addition, I would say that we look at, for example, a significant number of people still say that they're concerned about going back to work in jobs where there's a lot of public facing because of COVID. So that's clearly holding back some people, and that should diminish as vaccinations move ahead. There's also the question of childcare. Many are engaged in caretaking, and as schools reopen and childcare daycare centers open in the fall, or not in the fall, then we should see that supporting labor force participation by caretakers. Finally, unemployment insurance for something like 15 million people will either end or be diminished as we move through the summer and into the fall by the end of September. And I'd like some that may also encourage some to go back in and take jobs. So you would think that would add to an increase in job creation as well. So you put all those together, I would expect that we would see strong job creation building up over the summer and going into the fall. I will also say, though, the last thing I'll say is this is an extraordinarily unusual time, and we really don't have a template or any experience of a situation like this. And so I think we have to be humble about our ability to understand the data. It's not a time to try to reach hard conclusions about the labor market, about inflation, about the path of policy. We need to see more data. We need to be a little bit patient. And I do think, though, that we'll be seeing some things coming up in coming months that will inform our thinking.
Okay, Chris. Where you at?
All right, now go back and read the rest of the article.
Okay.
These interest rates that they plan to hike up may or may not affect the markets. Inflation is already here. Okay, so yeah, finish reading that. But what did you stop at?
Right here at the top. The Federal Reserve now sees at least 2 interest rate hikes in 2023, according to the central bank's so-called dot plot of projections. Wednesday's forecast showed 13 members of the Federal Open Market Committee believe the Feds will increase rates in 2023, and the majority of them believe the central bank will hike at least twice that year. Only 5 members still see the Fed stand pat through 2023. In fact, 7 of the 18 members see the Feds possibly increasing rates as early as 2022. In March, 4 of the 18 Federal Open Market Committee members were looking for a rate hike at least at some point in 2022. At the same time, 7 members saw a rate increase in 2023. Every quarter, members of the committee forecast where interest rates will go in the short, medium, and long term. These projections are represented visually in charts below called a dot plot. Here are the Fed's latest targets released in Wednesday's statement. So that's 10, 23, 23. Okay. What is the Fed's forecast looking like March 2020? Okay, let's see. The longer run dots remain unchanged for the FOMC's March meeting. The Fed also slightly dialed up its economic expectations for 2021, according to its summary of economic projections released Wednesday. The central bank now expects real gross domestic product to grow 7% in 2021, compared with the 6.5% forecast from its March meeting. The Fed also upped its 2023 real GDP forecast to 2.4% from the 2.2% expected previously. The Fed also sharply increased its inflation forecast for the year. It now sees inflation running to 3.4% this year, above its previous estimate of 2.4%. Oh, hold on. The central bank also slightly hiked its PCE inflation estimates for 2022 and 2023. Core PCE inflation is expected to come in at 3% in 2021, up from March forecast of 22.2%. Course PCE for 2022 is now expected at 2.1 and is projected to stay at the level in 2023. The Fed still estimates the unemployment rate will fall to 4.5% in 2021. The FOMC expects the rate to drop to 3.8% and
Hold on, Mo.
Oh,
Okay, so the core PCE, that's the price index, is defined as personal consumption expenditures.
okay.
That's prices excluding food and energy prices. So just to put that out there.
Okay, good. All right, so the Fed still estimates unemployment rate will fall to 4.5% in 2021, and they expect the rate to drop to 3.8% and 3.5% in 2022 and 2023, respectively. So unemployment going down. So they say people got a job.
Yep. So the thing about Jay Powell is I can't really trust the Fed and the FOMC outlook based on this data alone. It's cool, that they see that they can hike interest rates up 2 years from now, which could be a good overview for the future. And then seeing where inflation is right now. The thing about it is that you gotta account for what is it gonna look like 6 months from now. I get they jumping 2 years ahead and trying to paint a picture. That's cool and all, but okay, who's to say that this next variant of COVID, which is the Delta, I believe, doesn't come through and smacks all of that out the water? So now you have these so-called good numbers because now that everything is opening, You know, people are going back to work, you know, but everybody not going back to work. You know, the economy is opening up. You know, people are spending more now. So consumer price index is, you know, I think 5% or something like that. Um, how do we know, or how do we trust that what Jay Powell is saying is is concrete? You can't let the numbers, you know, fool you, because that in itself is, it could be some fugaziness with that. Um, yes, unemployment is low. It's getting lower. For how long? Is it still pre-pandemic level? You know, and how long is that going to last? You know, are vaccinations going to continue to be available? Are people still going to be taking these vaccinations? Is the coronavirus just going to disappear? You know, is that going to happen? You just have too many questions to ask, you know, to for them to, you know, have this outlook, and that's cool because that's what the people want to hear anyway.
Right. What's up?
Um,
Go ahead, Chris.
oh no, what you was about to say?
No, 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 no. I was about to greet Angie. You keep going. You building.
Okay, so that article, pull that up again. Pull the article back up because those charts that they have up in that article is important as well. I didn't really get to investigate that. Um, okay, FOMC participants' assessments of appropriate monetary policy, midpoint of target range or target level for the federal funds rate. Hold on, scroll back up. Okay, right there. Um, okay, every quarter, members of the committee forecast where interest rates will go in the short, medium, and long term. These projections are represented visually in charts below called a dot plot. Okay, so scroll down. All right, what year? Okay, so all right, scroll down a little bit more. I want to see the time frame. Okay, so 2021, the year we're in right now, we're basically at zero. So in 2022 is going to be at zero as well, is what they're saying. Now they're going to start hiking up rates in 2023. Now, who's to say that they don't change their mind and start hiking up rates next year? Let's say the economy, uh, it fully recovers and it keeps growing, you know, and coronavirus just, you know, disappears. Let's just say that's a reality. Who's to say that they don't hike those rates up, let's say in March 2022? But this is a forecast, right? All right, so scroll down. All right, this is what the Fed's forecast look like in March 2021. All right, scroll down a little bit more. Let me see if I can see the dates. Okay, right. Okay, right. Got it. Got picture.
Let me go down a little bit more, Chris.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's basically showing the same thing. All right, scroll down some more. I think it's the third chart. All right, right there, right there. Okay, go scroll down a little bit. I mean, scroll up a little bit more. Okay. Okay. The Fed also slightly dialed up its economic expectations for 2021, according to its summary of economic projections released Wednesday. The central bank now expects real gross domestic product to grow 7.7% in 2021. So they believe the economy is going to recover fine this year. Everything is going to be back and booming. Because gross domestic product means what? Anybody want to answer that?
GDP.
I guess I'm talking to myself here.
Oh, girls, I thought my mic was on. Gross domestic product. So I went to the reports to look it up. So I will make sure we get a proper source.
Okay.
The total value of goods produced and services provided in a country during 1 year. So the total
Okay.
value of goods produced and services provided in a country.
Okay. So now, okay, I'm glad that's the answer, right? Now they expect that to grow 7% this year. But how can that grow 7% without people going back to work? Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of people are, but there's still a lot of people that's severely unemployed. In order to have this amount of growth, people have to go to work, and then you have to have more people than you had pre-pandemic go back to work to be able to produce this. I don't really see that happening this year. Not with all these different variants of COVID still around. If Delta makes it here to the US, that's definitely not going to happen. So, like I said, it's just a forecast, it's a prediction. Um, okay, so compared with the 6.5% forecast from its March meeting. So they basically upped it a 0.5% based on how things are going now. The Fed also upped its 2023 real GDP forecast to 2.4% from 2.2% expected previously. So they got some faith in our economy and the way things are going. I mean, as the central bank, you're supposed to. Um, but we have to factor in there's still unemployment. People are not working or going back to work, working from home, whatever the case is. We still have to account for that stuff. So the Fed has big ideas. They have a big vision of how things, how they want things to go, and how they want to see things progress. And this chart here, it just shows you GDP numbers, and how they calculate all of that stuff, and we can move on because they're numbers. You can look at them on your own time.
Right.
Um,
Peace, power, and profit, brother AE.
oh, I'm glad he on here. Please take the reins over AE, because you can go into detail about the FOMC, with their calculations, their visionary with Jay Powell, and the future that they see our country going in, with interest hikes in the next 2 years, inflation, also, a growing GDP, and all of that stuff. And we was just looking at the numbers, and kind of listening a little bit of what Jay Powell was saying in a meeting earlier. It was just a short clip, and him talking about what he sees going forward.
Well, peace, pound, profit. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Over.
Turn it up a little bit more. Turn it up a little bit, brother African
Yeah.
Emporium.
Turn them up.
Yeah, I messed around and y'all know, man, my computer started having moments of like, hey man, you ain't been around a minute. Start acting right on me. Let me cut the mic up here. Can you guys hear me? Is it better now? Is it a little louder?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Peace, power, profit, everybody. Again, thank y'all for tuning in to Urban Economic Empowerment Show. Uh, Again, in my opinion, one of the most constructive, you know, time frames and days, if you're present, to be able to watch, listen in, or just be a part of it, is so empowering. Uh, you know, that it's just not even funny because again, you think about where we are here on the back end of the COVID uh, crisis. When I say the COVID crisis, meaning people are not necessarily scared for their life, no more than the fact that you know they can now move about a little bit, be a little bit more operable in their daily existence. So people feeling more empowered now to be out, be it going back to work, be it trying to find other ways to kind of now get their life back on track, you know, based upon what we dealt with COVID. Again, I see Sister Angie got her beautiful kids in the back, even stuff like that, being able to be out and enjoying your family, as opposed to being quarantined or cooped up, is a whole new different dynamic now, right? So within that, you still got to find ways to what feed, clothe, and shelter yourself, right? How to keep that can keep kicking the proverbial, you know, financial wealth achievement can down the road in a way where you know we're not giving up on our goals, right? So that's exciting, and I think what better time uh, now, of course, like I said, I know it's been a while since I kind of been on it. Sister Monica, she's been, you know, trekking the world and doing a lot of great things, and everybody based upon the kind of the crew here. You know, we kind of been working behind the scenes and still being effective in that, you know, in our little circles or portals or wherever we meet and greet at, we still been working. So don't y'all think that we ain't been working just because you ain't seen a person, heard a person, or whatever. That's, you know, at least your word. Just realize, you know, we are boots on the ground. We have always been boots on the ground, and we've always been humbled in our endeavor to kind of convey or deliver information, right? And learn in the process. Let me repeat that. We learn in the process over here, right? We don't have all the answers, but we have some. And to me, that's better than none. And so again, if we can help people go to A to B, if it takes a week, 3 months, a year, that's fine with me because guess what? It's a marathon, not a sprint. You're trying to break generational curse when it comes to financial literacy and teach not only yourself, but your children how to also be warriors in this space too, right? So that's commendable if you're patient with yourself, patient with the channel, patient with your friends or your peers around you, and realize again you're trying to do something that was obviously do something that was hid from you purposely, and try to uncover that to make it become a part of your daily existence. So get excited for those who stay patient with themselves, who also stay honest to want to figure out how they can have that aspect of freedom that we all talk and claim that we want, financial freedom, right? To be able to make your own money on your own time, under your own dime. And that's a mouthful to say a lot, but it's been a minute since I've been on. But I like to always come on and preach to the tabernacle that this is why we come together, right? And so I heard Open Chris going in a little bit earlier. I just kind of got off a conference call or consultation call with another client. Y'all, like we always do, we always working, and that's a good thing because we find that people who are more serious now about wanting to get their fair share, right? And so today, of course, was a very monumental day. We had been preempting it for quite a while. We've been posting about like we always do, right? That's one thing I love about people who are more market acclimated, because we always be, in a perpetual state of trying to uncover data, information, and then how can we share it with others, right? Because again, it's better to know than to be trying to struggle to figure out what you should be trying to get caught up on, when necessarily it shouldn't be that hard to do anyway. You just kind of keep one ear to the ground, one eye to the streets, as we like to say. This stuff ain't hard, right? You got a smartphone where you can just pull up anything about market related information at the drop of maybe 2-3 seconds, right? So the excuses are non-existent in our world, because we're now being purveyors of what we preach, right? We utilize our time wisely. We understand that a smartphone is just that in our presence, right? We use it for smart things, right? To be able to access opportunity through investments, right? Through just understanding how the financial system of the game works, the market analysis, and understand how the PPP information comes out, understanding how to be better at budgeting our finances, right? How to again understand the power of leveraging the LLC, or S corp, C corp, a 501c3, whatever the case. That's why it's called urban economic empowerment. And the greatest thing about it is, guess what? This is a PG rated environment. Get your kids involved, get them on these live streams if necessary, get them in front of these conversations, because they need this like yesterday, right? And that's the problem in our communities, is that we don't have people who are boots on the ground teaching our kids how to be the next what, right? How to be the next financial wizards out there, that gives them a tangible skill
But
set that's
Brother
void of.
AE,
Yes, ma'am.
I don't want to stop you, but guess what?
No, I got you. Whatever you need. You know I'm
Okay.
audible.
I got an interview tonight with Brother Asar at 11:30 p.m. And everything you
Oh,
just
really?
said right now in reference to teaching the next community, getting the next person involved, is the questions I just sent him to answer. You keep going. You got me excited. I'm on the right track.
Again, I like mine. See, y'all know how this stuff works. Y'all know we symbiotic at this thing. Y'all know that what that movie called Venom, right? The symbiotic thing, the symbiosis, whatever it is. Y'all know how this stuff works.
Yeah.
Man, this stuff like osmosis. Stop playing, right? And it's genuine too. That's what I love about it, because y'all know we're in a business or industry where it's a proving ground that you have to be able to show up and show out every day. So you know we talk the talk and walk it, because if we don't show up, we don't have no results to show people, right? So we are very hands-on, and we're very humble in our approach, because we realize that people need a very what they say, a more direct message for once, right? Where they can see a light at the end of the tunnel, right? It's not construed in a whole lot of double talk and this and it's that. And no, we just show up and say, hey, look, black man, look, black woman, right? Look, hungry person, right? If you really about that life, let's go, right? We have the community, we have the nuts and the bolts, we have the paperwork, whatever you need, we can help you get where you need to go if you meet us what? In the middle, right? So it does take a village, right? That's why we say Ubuntu for a reason. I am because we are. Some people just said, we actually mean it over here, because I see the work we put in every day, right? Everybody on this panel, everybody even that tune in, we seen how it had changed a lot of those people's lives in what, 1 year's time frame, right? Think about that. We basically coming up on what they consider to be 1 year anniversary at this point, when we hit June of last year, when everything seemed to be kind of on the table, what we was going to deal with for the vaccine. Not only that, the ideal of what the economic situation was going to look like going forward, right? Here we are a year later to give an assessment on just that, right? So even saying that, this FOMC meeting that was done today by the Fed, right? Jerome Powell, right? Backed by the Treasury, was a very, very potent readout today. A data plot that was structured in, hey, where are we going to look like, going into next year? Because this stuff is forward thinking, right? It's forward looking, right? It's chess, not checkers, right? That's how America runs its corporation. And if you're still thinking that it's a day-to-day emotional, barrage of just up and down moments and movements, then you're looking at it all wrong. That's not how this stuff works, right? Your job don't even work that way, right? So again, realistically, this is great, because now, as y'all were hearing, brother, Oberchris was speaking about, when I kind of jumped on about, the data points that came out today in relation to the Federal Reserve, the importance of them, because again, for a lot of you guys who were able to buy homes or secure something that was, at a very, very low interest rate because of COVID, kind of offered up that environment where you had a chance to get your credit right, and you could borrow more, because borrow more for less, basically. Hopefully you leveraged it. Hopefully you leveraged it. Hopefully you leveraged it in my Dr. Umar vernacular, right? Because that's what this is all about. It's learning how to leverage opportunity, right? How to leverage an investment, right? How to use the same tactics that, quote unquote, white America does when they leverage opportunities and their privilege through, better, credit and this, that, or be able to get money basically for less, right? Well, we all had access this time around because what? The catastrophe of COVID, right? So they couldn't really play that game of trying to discern whether you black on the in and out, because everybody was hurt and got caught, right? So it was a really good time to kind of canvas that opportunity and leverage it. The PPP loans, right? The EIDL loans, right? All those things were great moments where black people had a chance to level up, kind of behind the scene, but in front of the camera for a change, right? And it wasn't dealt with people that was you had to go down and meet people face to face so they could discriminate against you. Guess what? They could not do it from their what? Your online presence, right? And they did a whole lot of what? I'm gonna pull this person up real quick and see if they black or white. I'm gonna see if I'm still gonna act a donkey, right? So again, to me, I think that was a good moment for us to get our hands, and feet wet and get into something again a little bit more uh, bigger than our own individual perspective. Meaning, here's a collective where you can take this information, share it with your peers, your family members, your spouse, whatever, right? Build your community out, which a lot of people did online. Got inside a lot of these different investment groups and learn how to forex trade, equity trade, crypto trade, learn options, whatever the case was. You figured out a way to make money on your time under your own dime. Obviously, you have no choice, right? Because of COVID, right? So if you took anything out of last year into this year, knowing now we're kind of at a what they call a crucible moment, right? That's why I kind of premised it myself today. We had a crucible moment in the marketplace. We had a crucible moment in terms of our economy, right? Right. The idea that people are actually getting ready to go back to school when the fall session opens up for this next school session. They're gonna a lot of these people gonna be back inside the classroom in seats, right? Right. So a lot of things have to spire within that for a lot of us who not necessarily have gone back to work or whatever, your benefits about to run up because all that stuff actually finna come to a head too, right? These what they call these moratoriums of bill payments and all that stuff. Look, y'all get it, right? The government only gonna foot the bill for so long because this is the most stingiest corporation on the planet, right? In terms of America, right? They don't never want to give you what's owed to you, and so you gotta figure out a way to go out there and take it yourself, right? Or play the game at their level. But nonetheless, again, if you were a person, right, who sat through a lot of what we did over last year, right? Not just us, but anybody that was talking about, hey, here's how you can, uh, get into the income stream producing game and figure out how to, bring in supplemental income one way or the other. Then guess what? You're leaps and bounds a lot of people ahead of a lot of people right now. Let that marinate for a moment, right? Because you took a chance on yourself. So, with that being said, again, if y'all did get the data today, of course, I saw Sister Monica was scrolling through when I kind of popped down. I think Open Chris was speaking about it. That chart that she pulled up in terms of FMOC meeting that the Fed was talking about, that's called what they call a dot plot chart, right? It's called a dot plot chart. And within that, that's them pretty much canvassing the ideal of where our economy should be at certain points, like I say, into the future. Because again, that's how they think. They're forward thinking. They're thinking, okay, well, if the labor force ever get back to some form of what they call at least 80 or 90% participation, we should be able to incur these kind of level of product or service produced value, which also will bring the cost of these products down some, because right now they're far few between, right? It's a scarcity. And anytime there's a scarcity of something, what happens to it? The price of it, it goes up. That's just how this works in terms of under capitalism and under this rulership, right? It's no secret there. And the bad part of that, of course, in terms of the inflationary conversation, is that they've been printing a whole lot of money, but ain't nobody working off that money, right? Being we're a debt-based society, right? The dollar bills that you hold up every day, that you flick around, that you even probably don't even want to carry that much because of COVID. On the top of that, it has what they call a federal debt note. That means it's a debt note, right? You have to work that off. It's not necessarily even legal tender anymore. It's a debt note. You're working off debt at all times. So if you ain't working, that means ain't no debt being worked off, right? So you can't have all this money printing and not have labor force participation and bring the cost of goods and services down. Hence, that's why we are inside of an inflationary environment, right? We just saw some of the biggest numbers ever in somewhat U.S. history, where we've had a 5% increase in terms of our PPI data point. We have around about 6% on our CPI number, Consumer Price Index, right? And the PPI basically is product producer or producer product basic information in terms of what the producers are producing, right? The cost of goods and services that cost them to produce the item, basically in layman terms, right? So all that stuff is important, right? You say, well, that stuff don't matter to me because I don't have to deal with that, man. Just whatever the cost of it is what it is. Well, it does matter, because if you've been going to the grocery stores lately and you've been buying products, right, and you've been getting less product for more, and you haven't been checking to see if cut the count down and cut the weight back on your box, right? The air in your bag of potato chips and got, got more, right? You got more air than potato chips. That's what inflationary does, right? You're getting less for more, right? Your dollar bill is saturated, it's diluted, and so the products are not going to be equating to that of the power of the strength of the dollar, right? And so in layman terms, again, right now that we're at this crucible moment in the marketplace, right, where you have a lot of overpriced stocks and froth that came into the idea that it was going to back the financial markets, not necessarily back Main Street, which is you guys, right? Well, they were successful at tricking a lot of people into going along with the idea that this is good for what? The economy. Well, that's a bunch of BS because guess what? The economy is supposed to be reflective of Main Street. But we know that the financial system of America does not necessarily rep Main Street. It reps what? Wall Street, right? That's where they send a lot of their what? Their financial backing to. That's who lobby for these companies and corporations. Is what? The people who have a vested interest to make sure that they are protected in the event of any economic downturn, which we just experienced in COVID. So the feds were out there saying we want maximum employment, we want maximum GDP based upon us being able to produce goods and services. Well, guess what? That didn't happen almost for a whole year and change. So who benefited if everybody ain't working? Not Main Street, right? Obviously, it went in the hands of what? Corporate pockets, right? The generation wealth got expanded under COVID. And typically, when you have a scenario like that where there's a catastrophe, especially on this level, a world level, not just even a country, but a world level, guess what? This is where all the fat cats gets richer. And those who are like on the side that built their house with straw or wet tissue, that's when they get what? They crumble because they wasn't prepared for this rainy day, right? They took this stuff like, man, I get to it at some point. It was no big deal to them, right? But those are the people who suffered the most. So unfortunately, that's how America works. And what we try to provide on this channel is a perspective where you see exactly how this stuff works in a way where you won't be, misinformed or misconstrue things or whatever, whether you get it from us or anybody else. I just say go out there and get saturated and understanding how to become better at financial literacy, because that in itself is a big problem in our community, right? We are far and few between and understanding how this stuff really works. We just feel like as long as we can go to work, we good, right? And we can get a college education or a degree on the wall, we're good, right? All that stuff is, again, is literally, non-existent in reality, because that's not how this stuff really works, right? So again, shout out to everybody who was patient, who sat through this, who was there, with us from the thick and the thin, and have came up to this point where you're starting to see the benefits or reaping the benefits of the reward within this, right? And so businesses will form during this time. And again, look at our sister Monica. Look what she was able to accomplish in that time frame. Right, Sister Monica went from 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds, like a Tesla plan.
I did.
Right? Business acumen.
Yeah, the plan.
Business acumen, right? And been taking trips. Her over Chris, everybody, man, Juggle been flying all over the planet, man. Juggle, man. I'm sitting there like, man, it's my turn next.
Right on.
I need to get up out of here at some point. Right. But see, that's it. See, just like she said, they utilize the power of learning how to use this stuff at their advantage. Right. So again, not rocket science. Right. So I know I just said a whole lot or a mouthful or whatever. But again, focusing on this federal open market committee meeting today. That's what the FOMC means. If you ever run, like, what's the FOMC stuff? That's basically what it is, Federal Open Market Committee, right? A mall committee. Some people say mall, some people say market. It's basically them coming together, all the different Fed heads of this country, because there's several of them strategically placed around America to kind of give readouts on their district, right? The feds of Atlanta, the feds of St. Louis, the feds of Chicago, whomever. All these people coming together with this data to kind of let the world, in terms of the world, meaning Americans know exactly how good our economy is in terms of the demographic greater makeup and where we are collectively when we kind of bring all that data together, right? So that's why that stuff is actually important, because if you are in an area where there's a lack, right? The whole issue, even with Trump fighting against the Democrats, with that they didn't want to give money to so-called herding Democratic enclaves or Democratic district, right? To kind of starve them out, right? As if these people that live in those areas are not Republicans too, right? They kind of mixed in the bunch. But see, that's the silliness of politics, because they don't really convey it in a way where you realize if a society needs benefits or an area of the country needs benefits more than others because they suffer more, well, 9 times out of 10, we know it's gonna be people that's what, black, like us, right? Or brown people, whatever you want to, if you want to throw that in there. And so of course they're not gonna want to what, send money to help those people out. Right? The goal is always to keep money out of the hands of those who need it the most and put it in the hands of people who obviously have more power to what? To keep the status quo of what? That divide, in play. Right? So again, ain't no such thing as the Fed's going to work for you or working on your behalf to make sure that you're okay. Don't be bamboozled, fooled, and confused. That's not how this stuff works, right? The Fed's only job, I repeat, let me say this very slow and clear. The Fed's only job is to protect people who own assets. There I said it. There I said it. Deal with it. Right? They say that means deal with it. If you don't own income producing assets or interest producing assets, you are losing. And I don't mean that in a derogatory manner, but I'm just trying to say this is why you have to up your game. You cannot depend on jobs alone. You can't depend on waiting on the government alone. You have to become, again, owner, operator, producer mindset, entrepreneur mind. You need to learn how to make your own money on your time. And I know it sounds, almost like an infomercial, but because we've been talking about it so much, it's already a part of our daily what? Existence. So of course it's gonna sound like that, but it's just the truth. And everything we talk about, we can show you or lead you to what? That path to show you how to do that. Right? Again, stock investing in itself is easier it's so easy that a 6 or 7 year old can do it. Right? It really is that easy. Understanding what you're doing is a whole new different perspective though, right? And not just even stock invest, but understanding, the business model of understanding how to run a business, right? What do you have to do to open a business, right? All the preparatory steps that Sister Monica has came on and laid out so many times. Even over Garfield, of course, he's come on do a lot of the credit stuff, right? You do the money, the morning money show every morning, right? On Facebook Live and YouTube, giving people the understanding how important it is to level up on credit, right? How to level up on getting your business together, right? And so there's always a lane, right? We just need people to come in and fill them up, right? And not feel like, again, the way that the person or the person that may be saying, however the case is, whatever that's keeping you from wanting to get this information, you need to kind of figure out how to get that out your life and realize this is about, again, urban economic empowerment, right? Taking people from a raw state, a raw environment, and giving them actionable tools. I repeat, actionable tools that they actually can put to work, right? Let that marinate for a moment. And so that's what we saw as of last year, right? The same time last year, matter of fact, what June 16th. So happy birthday, Tupac, right? Happy birthday, Tupac Amuru Shakur, right? 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 How long with the moment, right? One time for Tupac, right? Whatever your favorite Tupac song is, or many of them. But again, the ideal of the revolutionary investor, right? And that's a timeline or a tagline for you, because that's what's basically what we are. They're not expecting us or our children to be in this industry, right? That's why they funnel you into a job as opposed to learning how to invest. Let that marinate for a moment. And it's up to you, if you have children, to make sure that your kids are more heavily influenced about learning how money works, the monetary system as a whole, the Federal Reserve System and the monetary central bankers around the planet, how all that stuff works so they can leverage that to their advantage. And that's a part of what the investment world provides you on an open forum, because if it's a publicly traded company, that means the information about this company is what? It is also too public. That means you get first access to pull this information up like everybody else. When you always hear people saying primary sources shut up or source up or shut up, well, guess what? We have the best sources on the planet, because we get everything early, fast, and before anybody even know about it. Am I lying or am I lying? I'm telling the truth, obviously. But that's what I love about this industry, because we are first to market. We are first to see it before the consumer even touch it. That means we're very knowledgeable beforehand, and we know exactly how product placement and understanding all this stuff, how this stuff works, because we peruse this stuff every day, right? On different industries, biotech, farm, whatever you name it, we're there, right? So get excited for learning how to stay ahead of the technology curve or the evolutionary curve of understanding, where we're going as a society through your investments, right? Sister Monica, if you will, could you go to your Google? I don't know if you can or you can, or whatever. Not, if not, I could do it. I share my screen. But I want, look, I'll do it real quick. Let me do this here. Let me show you how great this stuff is, right? How we love this stuff and how simple it is, right? So, okay, yeah. So just this evening, guess what happened, right? So, right, Turback, right? See what I put in my Google search bar, hashtag CVAC. Right? I don't know if y'all caught this, but I know some of y'all did already. Right? CureVac is one of the companies that's trying to produce what? A vaccine as well, right? It's also backed and financed by Bill Gates, right? And it has influenced by some other people, right? So this stock, when it IPO literally last year sometime, I think last year sometime, it opened
Shot
around
out like a cannon.
It did. It went from 41 bucks all the way to 150 bucks in about 3 months. So this from August to around November, December, the stock was up from $41 up to near 150. Those kind of power moves. All you had to do is just be in the arena of trying to be, as we like to see, at least an aid to trying to come up with some idea to kind of beat back the idea of COVID. But we did it from a financier side of the house, right? We did it from an investor side of the house. Right, we're gonna come in and add money to the field so they can use them under R&D and come up with a so-called help meet to this COVID virus, right? So all these companies like Novavax and CureVac and Moderna and the Pfizer, all these, again, that's the power of investing. Well, you take your money and put it to work for you, right? You take your money and put it to work for you, not necessarily even the company, but for yourself, right? Because the company gonna do what they need to do anyway, based upon them maybe they extrapolate grants and y'all get it. Y'all was there, y'all heard it all. But anyway, real quick. So you hit that symbol, right? Or you hit that enter button, and guess what? Voila, what pops up? Information about what? CureVac. So tonight, something interesting happened with this stock. As you see here on the screen, the stock got cut basically in half. Well, what happened, right? They're to fight to find a vaccine. Okay, yeah. Well, apparently their concoction or their cocktail only had, as you see, as soon as I scroll down, guess what? It's breaking news all across every news article that you can think about. All financial headlines, even New York Times, all that stuff even picked it up.
The screen's not showing it.
It's not showing? Oh, hold up. My bad. Okay, get over here. There we go. All right. Guess what happened, right? About an hour, a couple hours ago, the stock or the company came out and said, hey, based upon our trials, our vaccine only came out with a 47% efficacy rate. 47% effective rate. What does that mean in relation to its competitors? That means you bat under 50%. And anything under 50% is definitely a no-go in this lane of what? Vaccine curation. So unfortunately for that stock, it got cut down in half. Now, basically, what's interesting about it is basically back down to the price where it opened up at in terms of its what? IPO price. Look at this. Look. This was just last year, right? It opened up around what, 40 some odd dollars here, 55, whatever. Came down to hit a low of 44, whatever, right? And then it shot up and went all the way to like 150 or some change. Now this chart is not really reflecting its true price because it went way up there, right? Right? But then it has pulled back since then, right? Kind of chopped out in this little range here and then it kind of pulled back. Well, basically, me saying all this and telling you all this is that this is data that you have just as much access to than I have. So it's not I have some special privilege. I get something that you don't get. But this affects you just as much as it affects me because guess what? These are real world products being produced to backstop the what? The vaccine, or excuse me, I won't keep saying the vaccine, but the COVID virus. So it's public news, right? Obviously it is, right? So And knowing how this stuff again works in this perspective, one would have to convince themselves why they feel like they cannot be just as much as hands-on or effective being able to utilize this data to put their money to work for them in the same likeness that we do. We don't have degrees in this, right? We may have different, experiences in life, and maybe, maybe taking a course here on certain aspects of it, but this was not our prerequisite. This is not our core, right? This is not our program value. This is everyday stuff though that we deal with because you deal with it just like I do. So again, not rocket science, right? This news down here, these are primary sources, right? Not rocket science. I don't have to pay CNBC to get this news. I didn't have to pay Market Watch or The Hill or anybody else that dropped this information tonight. See how that work? So you're dealing with, again, information that is very, very turnkey, and it's just at the click of your cell phone, laptop, computer, tablet. So basically, what we're saying in layman terms, you have the keys to the change that you're trying to aspire to be able to acquire. If you just take the time, right, to build up the interest level in it, right? There's no such thing as permanent friends or permanent this or permanent that. There's only permanent interest, your interest level. This is what, this is what got a lot of us off the couch in 2020. And now a lot of us are sitting at what they call boardroom status in terms of our investment value because we got acclimated in terms of understanding how this market stuff really works. Again, we saw people that got a $1,200 stimulus check way back last year, second quarter of last year, and they didn't turn that into 5 figures, and some people even turned it into 6 figures. I'm not making that up, right? I know it sounds like there's a lot of people that are not used to how this stuff works and how money works on this side of the house, but them guys literally did that. GameStop, AMC, even Tesla, right? So again, this is why this need to be an added layer in your existence, an added layer in your understanding how to read basically the money, how to follow the money, and how to read the money. The importance of understanding how the Federal Reserve System works. You don't have to have a PhD in learning how this stuff works. This is your everyday life. How your taxes are rated, right? How your interest rates are being, doled out to you when you go sit before a teller at a bank and saying, I want to buy a house or car or whatever. You need to know how this stuff works so you don't be, taken advantage of. And it's all what? Public information. Go to treasury.org. All that stuff is right there, all your interest rates levels. And the markup that the banks do within that, it still has to be within a certain rate so you know understand even how that works. Right? So again, it's just about being more financially aware of how to play ball on their fields. Until we can build our own fields, right? Right. So again, I just, it's been a minute. Of course, myself, I've been very busy. I've been transitioning, like a lot of us have. But again, it doesn't negate for the fact that, again, we didn't put in a lot of work to get to this point. Getting a lot of people, acclimated to this, and there's so many more who are still waiting to get started. So I just commend anybody who took a chance on themselves last year because of the situation, and now they have a whole different perspective about how they look at life now, from a monetary perspective, or just in general, right? The skill sets that they was able to acquire, how it changed their life, how it even made them even better people, right? That's what this is all about, right? Because ain't no better feeling than being able to, again, make money on your time under your own dime, right? So that's the importance of the Urban Economic Empowerment Show in a nutshell, right? What they call the speed version, right? Again, understanding how the monetary system works as a whole. Again, that data that Chris was breaking down to you guys earlier before I came on, right? The dot plot, in terms of how they're thinking about raising rates, even as early as next year, because they're looking at all this inflationary data as, like they've been saying, it's transitory. That means at some point it's going to go away because when the labor force picks back up, it's going to balance out the supply cost issue in terms of the shortages, right? Right? And then eventually, at some point, you're not going to be able to kind of keep buying the market, which the feds are doing. They're buying the market. And if you ain't in the market while they've been buying, what does that tell you? You've been doing it all wrong. But they're protecting the people who, again, who do what? Own what? Assets. your favorite mixtape, your favorite cooking pot, your broom, all that stuff. Again, I hate to tell you that. I don't want to bust your bubble, but that's not an income producing asset unless you got somebody out there that just really want what you got, right? So get in the habit of trying to find items that produce income or interest that accrue interest value on it. Because if there's ever an issue in the future where we come across something like this ever again, hopefully we don't, you need to know how to what? Play ball. Simple as that. Right? So real estate, asset ownership in terms of stocks, equities, whatever, bonds, whatever, right? At Forex market, crypto, whatever the case, drop shipping, own your own business. Look, until there's a new way out there under the sun to make money, if you found it, please let us know. If not, that's the playing field that we have to deal with. That's what we're gonna be hanging out at. Right. So I'm excited again to be on here, be with my intellectual peers in this perspective, in this sphere, right? Be around people who are hungry, who are humble and hungry, right? And who have grown their scenario over these past, over the past year, literally from June last year to even till today. And we're on the other side of this thing looking back like, man, what that was something unique, right? And we're still not in the clear. Keep in mind, Oprah Chris was just telling y'all, just like we talked about last year, these viruses started to mutate, which we knew they would. And here it is now, this thing is here to stay forever. Let that marinate. What they got, SARS-CoV-2, now hence the mutated value of that in terms of COVID-19 and all the new strains that are coming off that, they are here to stay just like the common cold. So what does that mean? That means society in itself is going to go through another overhaul of understanding how it should work. Now, set itself up for success to be able to deal with all these new additives of what layers of problems that the world has already have ahead of us. So guess what? In the future, they might just try to push some kind of form of a vaccine passport. You can't move about unless you got this, that. Again, we don't know the sinister thing these people might be thinking about, but nonetheless, it's better to be in the know than not know it all. So at least you know how to plan thoroughly, right? So again, that's what I like to say. If you are in this space and learning how to invest and trade, you get a lot of the information before it pops off to the actual general public, right? Even the Senate briefings and all that stuff, we are right there with all that stuff. We were right there with all of that stuff, right? Being informed properly and thoroughly so you don't have to guess your way through this stuff. Or guess your way in terms of if you think the government gonna cut you a check or not or whatever, you're gonna get some aid, some help, whatever, right? Sister Monica been breaking that stuff down since like forever, right? Right? How the government works, how to get money, how to expand your tax scenario, right? Your tax accessory aspect, right? I mean, and on and on and on, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So again, Urban Economic Empowerment Show, right? Be a part of it. Learn from it. Ask questions. Ain't no such thing as a silly question or a dumb question. To me, that's sacrilegious to even think such a silly thing like that. You're trying to figure out how to get paid, how to make money, and you run around here with pride and not want to ask questions. To me, that's like I don't get it, right? Financial literacy talk should not be a taboo discussion or a topic. No, let's talk about it, right? Not talking about it is the reason why a lot of our think tank value is suffering because nobody wants to get into a group and talk about money early, right? Early, right?
I think it's a disservice not to get no money, not to get money.
Man,
it's a disservice to your ancestors.
I've been saying that all the last year, even before that, even back in 2017. Ain't no such thing as black power and broke.
Back. Back.
All these conscious broke people around here. How you conscious and broke? Makes no sense, right? At least if you on the path, you ain't got a whole lot now. But if you at least in these lanes, that means you on your way to changing your economic situation. Because guess what? It's only one or the other. Ain't no middle ground in that perspective because guess what? The cost of living goes up every year. Inflation hitting us right now at the gas pump, in the grocery stores, buying houses, all that's the price of houses is skyrocketing through the roof. 70%, 60%, 50%, 30%, and under a year. That's unheard of. A house typically matures or appreciates at least 3 to 4% on an annual basis, and that's under a good economy. And people houses that went up over 30, 40, 50% and under a year because of this whole inflationary environment. True story. The Joker's cashing out, or at least saying, okay, man, I got some equity to work with now. That's what I'm, man, look, see, that's the importance of this channel.
You ain't lying, because when I see my equity thing, I was like, whoa.
Look, look at him. Joker, about to tell Joker, boy, Joker's on, boy, look at him.
Show the screen, y'all.
Take it, Eva, sorry. Eva, you saying something? Somebody might
I was
just
just
say
saying, show the screen. Share the screen. It's still on me.
Oh.
You mean like,
He says, "Oh, you?"
what?
I got it
the main
on
picture.
gallery. Hold on. She says stuck on her.
Oh, okay. Is it good now? Is it good?
I have it on gallery. Hold up. Go ahead now. Check it out now.
Look here. Right. You know what? We fan over here. So I'm gonna show you one of my properties. Y'all know we got a few properties over here in my household.
Baller, shot caller.
Right? We ain't doing that, man. We small change, try to give a little stuff, right? Do a little some strain for a little piece of change, right? All my kid boys. Right? Right? All about the Benjamin style. All right, book them, right? 750. Right?
750.
750. Look right here. See right here? I ain't making this up. See right here?
Ooh.
This is one of them. This is one of them. That's a net positive of 97 racks in under 1 year. 97,000 racks. Y'all, you know, I know they 97 racks, but y'all know I mean say 97 racks. That basically means 97,000. That's in 1 year. Under a year.
Nice.
Look at it. We talking about that 3-4% kicker that typically happens on an annual basis of income appreciation on a property, right? Depends on your demographic and all that stuff. At 3-4%, in the last 30 days, this thing went up how much? Y'all see that right there?
No.
That's the last 30. That's the last month. It's up 2%. Another 7,000.
Oh yeah, that's a bank.
See, and I could all the properties we own, all of them up like that. Asset ownership. What is the Fed spending money on right now in terms of they monetary operations right now? What are the two things the Fed spending money on right now to backstop the markets? Anybody know? I know y'all know. But
Mortgage-backed securities.
Boom. And what else?
Mo.
Right. Y'all got the mortgage-backed security loan because y'all seen the mortgage-backed security loans right now. They backstopping my mortgage.
Not no junk bonds, huh? They stopped that.
But they still hitting them bonds too. All of them. But bonds basically, but he might know about junk bonds, muni bonds, the whole nine, right? Again, when we say muni bonds, that means municipal bonds, right? That means if a person and you know skip bail, a lot of stuff, they even backstop those bonds. It was even at that level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this one probably we just recently got, you know what, a couple years ago, and it's already then, you know, made over 97,000, and if that, in a couple years. Well, actually, as of last year, we're just really taking off. Again, we could just, I could show you many others and stuff like that. It's crazy. So again, them people went out there, when I say them people, the feds, right, by way of the Treasury Department, by way of Congress, hey, you need to protect people who got what? Own assets. Yeah, I know we hurting because of COVID and people gonna be out of work and this, that, and the third, but guess what? The worst thing we can do is have America default on this what? On this debt. If America's a debt-based society, what are the first thing they're gonna backstop? It's the bonds. The bonds is the ultimate linchpin of America's what? Wealth. If the bond market ever go under, so goes America. I repeat, if the bond market ever go under, so goes America the corporation.
Facts.
We left the gold standard in the 70s. Right now we're on a debt-based society value, meaning you are only worthy of your level of debt that you incur. Ain't that something? Meaning you're only as valuable as how much debt you have. Ain't that something? Don't even sound logical,
Yeah.
right? It don't even sound logical. Right? But that's America. Right? So again, either you play ball or you what? You're gonna sit on the bench, right? Right? So that's why this stuff is important. That's why we love the people who come and participate. Again, if we can get 5 people in the house, we winning. Right? We get 10, man, we're gonna pop some bottles of some grape jelly or something. I don't know. Something, right? Right? But we're excited because again, to us, it's not even about this. It's about the people who what? Who just want to, get that extra layer of what? Of good information. And then all of it can be what? Backtrack, you can, again, you can come right behind us and do the work and see exactly what we're talking about. Right. So shout out to everybody who support the channel, who support this lane of understanding of knowledge, information, and wealth, building, or whatever, however you want to structure it in your own mind. Look, we got to get in the habit of learning how to talk this way, right? We have to get in the habit of not acting like it's such a taboo topic or discussion, right? Or more than the next person, all that kind of silliness, right? That ain't never got black people nowhere. I can care less. If a person dropping jewels, I'm there. If it gonna lead me to what they call least path of resistance to get me into a bag, run it, right?
Facts.
Right? Because the great thing about this, it's a proven ground for a reason. That means we can go back and back check every single thing. It has to lead to a primary source. It has to. That's what makes this so great. Ain't no shades of gray in terms of the conversation. If a person say, hey, this stock, this, that, and the third, blah, 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 and you go pull that stock up and they're like, man, the stock is up $100. You go pull up and the stock is at $50. What? What? Right? See how that work? So we deal with this, this is every day for us. So I'm excited again, just being a part of the family here, the team. The information is superlative for your growth and understanding. Right? There's no need for us to try to convince ourselves that we're not capable when I know everything about what we try to set forth on this channel leads you to be more what? In control or in command of your own destiny. Because we're not saying, hey, just follow me. I'm the only one with the answer. We don't do that on this on this segment here. We say, hey, the information is where you need to be following, right? We just want to help direct you there. What to look for, what to not, get caught up in, how to focus basically, prioritize your what? Your intellect in the right way. Right? So shout out to everybody who've been, again, 10 toes down, who've grown through this like we have, who came on the other end with bigger, better business profession, better business acumen, a better understanding how the financial markets work. Again, a new lease on life. Other people started businesses and they ain't never going back to work. They found their own way to how to be, successful because of COVID. Right? Shout out to our brother, brother Ali in the building, right? Dawu L, right? Black Soul Farms, right? Brother got an operation that could be cloned. Kicking butt, taking names right now. Right? And everybody else that got into the investment world, or our brother Contrarian trading, brother Masson, everybody again that tune in, right? Y'all understand y'all important here. Right? So again, shout out to the Dagger Squad, shout out to Brother Garfield for allowing us to utilize the channel as a medium of, again, thorough and good information. Simple as that. Right? So I know, again, I said a whole lot. Excited to be back with y'all. Again, many more to come. Getting a little bit more stable now, even in my existence, as transitioned to another property recently myself. So hey, I look forward to next year because again, we know what's coming down the pipeline. They're trying to hurry up and get people back to work for a reason because they didn't got liquored up and parted good off what taxpayers' money all last year, right? Jeff Bezos, Elon, them just went to space and not even do commercial space flights off all that money they got from taxpayers. And all of us sat home. Most of us couldn't even go to the refrigerator. Nigga, couldn't even take a trip to the refrigerator, boy, because they what? They hurting. Right? Hurting. Right? So the wealthy got wealthier, and the people who didn't have or wasn't trying, they just oof. Yeah, that part. Right? So we're trying to change that. So don't hesitate. Got questions, hit us up. Let us help improve your assessment. And I'll yield the floor. You got it, Sister Monica. Over Chris, you guys got it.
Okay.
I'm here to fill in the gaps.
Hey, listen, greatly appreciate that information. I was when you came in, you had me excited, as I stated, because I had posed these questions. I have been wanted to interview Brother Asar. I had watched the interview with Asar and Brother Abba on Dr. Mayat's channel about the reparations. And what has stuck out to me on it, just one of the things that I heard Brother Sar mention, and I heard him mention this before in reference to businesses and relationships. Like you ain't talking if you ain't talking relationships, you're not talking business, right? And so I think about, you know, our relationships as a collective on the panel, and you know, just the fruitfulness of it, as you stated, everyone in the circle benefiting in more ways than none. Yeah, regardless of what level or how much your net profit your net worth has gone up. The important deal is it went up more than 1% of what your bank was having, or where you was housing your money that probably didn't stay in from paycheck to paycheck. And I know just from my own testimony of what was going on is that, you know, I would save money, but I've never saved as much money as I've saved now by investing in and being able to see that money grow. So not only what I was saving, but having that compound interest in that account, and then being able to be excited about sharing it with other people of the community and having a different dialogue. So, you know, if I had to say, you know, what changed from last year to this year, them pockets change. You know, when you don't have people talk about, you know, saving up for a rainy day, or having emergency funds stored up and having some money for your lifestyle, and being able, you know, we talked about we broke that last week. We had broke down 50 30 20, you know, covering your basic needs, covering your entertainment, covering your lifestyle, that kind of thing, and your utilities, there's those kind of things. I mean, investments. So your basic needs, your lifestyle, and your investments. And, you know, I could truly say that you being able to break down that money and not feeling bad about taking a trip or, you know, going shopping, because the money is stored up in the places where it needs to be, and things are being handled appropriately. So for those individuals who probably didn't take advantage of their unemployment dollars and putting them in a necessary place, so that they can have later on, or so that they can go out and purchase some of that real estate that's actually building on equity and things of that nature. You know, I feel kind of bad for them, because it was a clear opportunity from extra $600, 2020, to the 300, to PPP, to EIDL, to EIDL Advance, from step 1 draw, 2 draw, you know, like, even if you didn't know how to do or what to do, you could have tuned into the show and gotten information and being able to store up what you needed so that you could be able to make moves now, because those lanes are starting to do a little way. And if you did not caretake your funds in that manner, then you're going to be kind of back. They say set the time back. You can set the clock back to February 2020.
Right.
because
right.
you went backwards, or you stopped time, so to speak, when in actuality all you had to do was really capitalize on what you had or what they gave, instead of sitting around communicating about other things. You could have really benefited, taken those funds and really started something and built an empire, or created. I like the fact of the creation, because I sat at the flea market during those times. It was, I think, and I was right at the peak of coming out on the COVID, them opening back up. And I sat there and I watched younger people, teens, their parents got them making butters and oils, and they were selling chips and cotton candy and Snickers and Skittles, and standing there, and they were, could you like to support my business? I'm saving up for my college fund or whatever, right? Get involved, hot ball peanuts, Maz, 2 5. I even watched a 12-year-old sell Pokemon cards for $2 and make 200 and odd something dollars. So of course I show him the investment app. Let's show you what you can do with that let's flip that 268,
That part.
yeah. And so sometimes when people ask, and it's like, well, Urban Economic Empowerment Show, you don't get a lot of views. And I say, well, I can tell you, those who are viewing, I promise you they change their economic situation. I can't make people build a tolerance for bettering themselves, or build up the fortitude to sit in a classroom setting or in a lecture to rethink and unlearn, so that they can actually build on information that would not only better them, but better their household and their community. And so one of the questions I want to ask Asar this evening is that, for everyone who started a business or have a business, do you think if they've started a nonprofit that they should be teaching skills and knowledge to their audience or their participants? And if they've started a for-profit, should they hire within? Or what do you think about that? And the reason I say that, because over the last few years, from 2014 to now, we've built a corporation and we're up to almost 91 employees. We just picked up 2 more contract opportunities. And so I'm looking at this, and the owners are looking and saying, okay, now who can I pass this torch to? How can we keep this going so that the next generation will benefit? And when I look down the line of who we have working and how things are going in reference to what those if those employees are picking up skill sets so that they too can be the next contractor on board, or they just working. Are you just, and many of them are just working. I would rather, based off the knowledge that we have, say, okay, build the incubator and say, okay, who in these different locations, because we're in 6, would like to be, start being a prime contractor in this industry, so to speak. You already doing the job, you've already done the work, you know how it actually how it operates. Now let me start training you and setting you up, and possibly joint venture. I asked that question too. Should we be a partnership? Should you go and joint venture? These are these individuals who into goods and services. If you're doing, which I truly think the great business model of investing, of course, day trading is great. And those who get involved with the goods and services, though, create that incubator to train and teach them on how you could be the next one, because we're growing up, we're getting older, we can be overseers, we can actually be a partnership and do profit share because we have the business relationship. What I notice a lot of business owners is that, oh no, this is mine, I don't want to share, I don't want to profit. But why not build on relationship? Why not? Because if we already have the contracting officers in our pocket, based on quality of service, based on relationship, based on equipment, the quality of our equipment based on our status, then why not leverage that? And we can have other individuals in the same arenas are doing the same thing and making the same profit. Another business that's booming and kicking really well is with Coach. Coach comes on sometime with his group home or whatnot. His uncles them got group homes. They're lucrative. It's another young lady he told me about. She made $1 million last year. And they always tell me, Mo, crazy ain't going nowhere. These are special needs, residential, 1 or 2 people in a home, hire a staff, the what you call it, Medicaid, Medicare, you build them, they pay for it. You're talking about changing the environment of where you are by you could have taken some of that money and started those programs and really made have a competitive edge. Why? Because we have the knowledge. We are doing it with boots on the ground. We've gone through audits. We know the ins and outs. And to have a little mini incubator and training people, but it take rigorous time and effort, because it's not a fly by day. It's not create something and then build something else. And right now, my newest adventure, y'all know I'm always into something. Yo brother African Emporium, we're looking into manufacturing the smoothies. Next level to its finest. And so just the expansion, a little plug, we'll be in Lithonia on Saturday for the Juneteenth, 2 events back to back, day and evening. I put those flyers up, so make sure you guys Ujau, all of you guys, Thunder that's in the area, y'all make sure you guys come out and come dialogue. We got this little we creating this little affiliate deal going on. We got a few people popping right now to distribute. So, just the whole, I appreciate Brother African Emporium, Chris, everybody out who brought a Garfield, everybody out who's giving information, and we've expanded on that knowledge to do more. And so the dialogue this evening is really in reference to, okay, now that we have some people popping, whether you had been a day trader, whether you're selling goods or you're selling services, whatever you're doing, now it's really time to harness on your skills and your knowledge, and either you need more to create these handbooks and these training incubators so that you can teach someone else so that they can actually come up as well, so we all can win. Because I see a lot of people running around, they got their businesses and they're doing their thing, but they could be so much better, or they can help someone else. And so we built this little, at the flea market, we built this like little community. It's real crazy. Is a all of us, we come to that same little spot. And when we shout out businesses and what it's doing, we shout out everybody businesses in the little block. So when people pass through, it's like, get these hot ball peanuts, get your mask 2 for $5, get the Seymour smoothies, got that paparazzi 2 for $5, you got that, you got that shea butter on it, yes. And we built this whole little empire of things, and everybody look out for one another. And so one of the things that I've helped a lot of them do was take advantage of that funding. And so now the younger kids who you watch grow up throughout the whole pandemic, because they wasn't in school, they was out, we sharing. So I hired, I'm taking the torch, being the first to talk about it, but also do it, is I hired 4, I got 5 teenagers. Well, one is a 12-year-old. I have a 20-year-old, an 18-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 12-year-old, and teaching them the skill sets that they need to be entrepreneurs. And so they're out selling smoothies. They're doing bookkeeping. I'm training them in bookkeeping by hands-on doing it. And the younger ones, they're learning how to audit. So I have them auditing my leave statements. I have them auditing our book, putting the receipts where they go, and identifying what they think is a advertisement, what they think is material. So we training them young.
See.
We get, so I'm really wanting people to really get the fact. And I love one we were supposed to go take a visit down to Miami and go see our lead coach, and I and see his whole empire he got going on down there with the farm and the produce and the agriculture, all of that great stuff he got going on. Because it's super important. I think that we spend a lot of trivial time in the entertainment side of the house, but we don't spend enough. I don't think we're communicating to the younger ones that, listen, this, you know what I admire, let me say this, what I admire, but I don't like what they did with their organizations, is the training piece. People like York, where they had, they had trained all the people to go and do all these little different things, but then they just twisted and did something crazy with it, right? That whole training avenue of things. All right. That whole training piece. If we could get our folks to understand that you got to take some time out to train, then we would be better off in reference to what community building is about.
Thanks.
And
You be more well informed. I mean, essentially, that's what it's supposed to be. It's about sharpening everybody's tool, right?
Yes.
Simultaneously, so that way everybody's literally on financial code, right? We talk about culture code, right? Being on a conscious code. Well, there's, a financial code is no more than, the backbone of your existence, right? In this country, you got to be able to, again, rub nickels together to kind of to make things happen. And so if everybody's operating under the same mandate of understanding, of course, you can have different avenues within that. But what I'm saying, the financial code that, I need everybody to realize the power of within the think tank, that we need to be moving with the least path of resistance to kind of not incur all these, unnecessary costs to get people on, in line, and not just doing a whole lot of reckless things. Well, that comes from being able to train, practice. Again, out of the house and style, practice. You talking about practice? Yeah, practice, right? You got to show up if you want to perform. As simple as that. So, yeah, I mean, you 1000% right.
Yes, like totally on the avenue, just making sure that what you're doing next, that you could transfer that knowledge on to the next. And that's where I'm at with that piece of it all. And it's gonna be super cool, because people are happier. People are happy when they're doing things that people are happier when everybody has something to offer. If you could go, if you walk in, if you got a circle of friends, I'll be posting, I'll be saying, what are your friends? I made a post that said, what do your circle of friends look like? Because Brother African Emporium taught me how to invest. Brother David taught me how to do sales and marketing. Brother Garfield showed me how to keep a credit straight. I go on and on of all these different people. But Sister Sherry, I can go on and on of the people that I have in my circle and how I've been able to capitalize on the information. You don't have to give me money for me to benefit, because I benefit if you share information, I'm gonna capitalize on it. I promise you.
That part. I tell people, man, it's actionable intel. That's why I keep using that phrase. People don't understand the nature within the context to that, right? The actionable intel. Not just, okay, we're gonna get in here, we just gonna talk, and everybody gonna get in their little emotion, they're gonna feel good. Some people ain't gonna feel, right? No. You take this information, come right behind us, and ID pretty much every bullet point that we're speaking about that can lead you to an end result based upon your collective interest to want to, get the best out of it. And you did all that without having somebody have to literally tell you when, where, and how you need to do it. Again, it's this owner operator type of information or intel, right? You don't have to wait on Mr. Charlie, right? That's the difference. And it's exciting to see it, So again, it's all that and then some. And so shout out to those who are, again, go-getters and who are not afraid to take a chance on themselves. Right? Simple as that.
Yep. It's all about taking the chance. You ain't bet on yourself all your life, Just one chance, just one time you bet on yourself. and you see it, you know, and you see the change, and then it make you want to do it more and more, and then somebody else want to follow the same lead. That's how, you know, energy work. Energy moves like that, just like money. Money moves like that. That's why it's called
Facts.
current.
Facts.
Simple,
It
guy.
cannot be destroyed. It can only be what? Transferred, as they
Current.
say.
Facts.
Either gonna be into your hand or out your hand, one way or the other. You make the decision. You choose wisely, they say.
Facts. Five. This is what, 4 or 5 years worth of, you know, sticking together, building brick by brick. Sharing is caring, and you see the fruits of the labor of each individual that has stuck around, you know, and took the information and, you know, and utilized this skill set. That's what people don't understand. This is a skill set, just like, you know, you apply for a certain job. That's a skill set, but this skill set ain't got no ceiling on it.
Facts. I
You
don't know if
know,
that's
ain't no
intimidating some
walls
people or
on this
not,
end.
but ain't no ceiling here. Ain't not nail ceiling.
Facts. And what better persons to learn about it than, you know, people like yourself?
Right. You again, they say you're set, right?
Yeah.
Get your set acclimated, get everybody fired up, you know.
Facts.
Hey, what's going on, Sister Monique? Is old Nick
Long
Scholar?
time, long time.
Hey, peace, sister.
Hey.
A long time, man. You got all that Dogecoin money over there, huh?
Getting
I
paid,
need a
getting
new
paid.
coin now.
You need a new coin?
I need a new coin.
That's all right. Crypto gonna be here. No matter what they try to do. We're gonna ride, we're gonna
I
ride it.
agree.
So yes, man, it's just been a beautiful journey, man.
I agree.
You know, all these different people that, you know, they come in, they learn, they apply it, and, you know, you get in the bag. I'm of the mindset that, you know, it's in utmost importance to get your ancestors' money back. African
Yeah.
Warriors been saying that for a long time, and I'm like, man,
Man,
that stuff makes sense.
you know they sitting there like, okay, y'all gonna move something or y'all gonna move something. All right? Either one way or the other. You're gonna have to move some buildings, some earth, or you need to move some of these dollars. One way or the other. Ain't
You
no
gotta
in
do
between.
something.
Think about that, seriously. And you know, that's our crucible moment as the progeny of people who labored for us in ways that we can even begin to imagine their sacrifice against their will.
Facts.
Right? And a lot of us still convinced that we can place it, that we can just wait it out or settle for less, and it's all good with that. No matter the fact that you may have stumbling blocks and go through things in life that set you back, because you're not gonna have a perfect, you know, bio anyway. If you're Black in America anyway, I don't care who you is, you're not gonna have a perfect bio, right? Because it's snared. The snares that are out there against you are set up to make sure that you don't have it, right? So ain't no badge of honor
Yeah.
trying to be the perfect Negro on the plantation. That just makes no sense to me, right? The goal is to be the most, you know, courageous and most, applicable type of,
Hey,
person on that
come
plantation,
back.
right?
You got a
What
mic?
happened?
Go ahead, Sister Mo.
One.
Oh
No,
no. Okay, your mic
Oh.
open up. Okay. No, that's it. You're right. You're right in the exact open Chris system. Onique, you guys understand it because everybody on here understand it. Everybody in the back chat too. Um, you know, that's just pretty much the plight of our existence here.
Yep.
Facts.
Right? Right? Either you're building, all right, or you watching the building come up, one way or the other, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd rather be a part of those builders, right? And through all my existence and my ups and downs, and everybody got them, right? And so what? Let's go forward though. That's what great thing I love about it. Because to us, a lot of this stuff may be new, but it's exciting for the fact that you know what? With each and every aspect of saying, okay, well, if they didn't have the opportunity to do this, meaning the ancestors, or at least we do today, that puts us that much more closer into what again, rectifying some of the wrong that they had to deal with to some degree,
Yeah.
right? To me, that's enough to wake up and fight for. That's enough for me to wake up and fight for.
Fact. Yeah. Oh
Super
yeah.
excited.
Stash party in 2 minutes. Some more free money
All right, let me open it up.
Yeah,
for
cha-ching
anybody that
time.
want it.
Right? Cha-ching, cha-ching. But that carry ready to be cha-ching, cha-ching. But yeah, come on. And Wolf will get the kicking out. Yeah, we're getting paid. And
Oh,
you
and I encourage everybody, man. Listen, go to Brother African Emporium
Seconds.
YouTube channel and watch his videos. They may be 3, 4, 5, 6 hours long, but I guarantee you'll learn more there than you probably learned in your whole 12 years in school and college, because they don't have the information in there that you need to survive in this society that we live in.
humble. And I say the same for your YouTube channel, Sister Monica channel. Anybody who's out there really conveying a message of actionable intel. It should be a prerequisite to want to support them. Not that you have to, but at least want to. Because what do we have for our think tanks? Crickets, right? Right. So you can't get all your information from people who necessarily don't have your best interest in mind. You gotta learn how to take it from people who got you in mind. So again, 100% right, Oprah Chris. Let's support one another. Cost you nothing. A like is free. I repeat, a like is free. A subscribe
Right.
is free. Right? Cost you what, half a second of a fingerprint of pressure on your mic on your mouse or whatever. Simple as that. But you know how it is. People like to politicize. I said this before. People like to politicize even a like and a share. Ain't that something?
Yes, they do.
Fact.
Tragic. Boy, our people sick. Our people sick. White folks show up and they don't even like the white person. No, they're gonna support them anyway. You know why? Because they know there's a monetary gain for that person on the back end to keep that wealth in the white folks' hands. See how that works?
Fact.
I ain't making this up because we didn't show the data.
Fact.
All right. So I'm just saying, when our people wake up and grow up, guess what?
Stash party.
All right, so come on.
Stash party. The link. All right.
And those documentaries, man, just the videos themselves, y'all, man. It's just, if you don't get a thrill of knowing the system in and out, how money works, how we get bamboozled and fooled, and how you see people and all we do is argue about the same stuff every year, but the financial wealth don't change in our families because we worried about everything that we can't control, but the things that we can't control, we don't worry about. And it just makes no sense, not to take this information and go full-fledged with it. What do you have to lose? You've been broke and poor all your life anyway, so you ain't gonna get at this point. Yeah, you've been broken poor all your life. So why not take the chance and do something different and increase your personal economy? It just makes no sense not to do that.
I know.
People want to, some sister posted yesterday about not being able to afford, training and, talking about fit Black women who, take pictures and look a certain way. And she can't do that because she got to work and, don't have enough money to afford this and that. And I'm like, well, sister, you got the budget, you got to save, you got to change something. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you're doing, it's not working. If your health is that important, you have to find a way. And it's the same thing with money. If you live in paycheck to paycheck every year and nothing changes, you got to do something different. That's if you want to change your reality. Because
Bars. They say bars.
Yeah, and because the white folks, they gonna keep getting their money. They don't care if you do the same thing every year. They just gonna keep growing their wealth. Their grandkids, their kids, their great grandkids is gonna be fine for generations to come, and we still gonna be singing the same song. So we got to change our stuff, man. Look at that national debt clock right there. You can't make it up. You can't make this stuff up, man.
The numbers right there, boy. They say numbers don't lie, right?
Fact.
Either you gonna be in the green or in the red. Which one you want to be? Which one you
It's gonna
right?
be
Joking
one
around
or
here
the
think it's
other.
a game, boy. These folks around here print money like ain't no tomorrow. I mean, the debt again, whether you got student loan, housing, car, whatever your aspect of or piece or sliver that you add into this pie, you're not going to be able to again come from underneath that unless you have multiple streams of income or producing income producing asset skill set that gives you the ability to leverage opportunity in a way where you can 1x 10x 100x your existence overnight in some cases, because doing the slow roll approach, that is old. Ain't nobody sitting around saying I want to work 20 years for John Deere tractor so and so anymore, unless they come from an old school block mentality. Because money now is so freely to access and gain access to it. Who wants to use that blueprint? Ain't no
Fact.
value in it. Pulling yourself up by your bootstrap and saying I'm gonna go work hard for it and blow my knees and back out, and you can't even enjoy it when you get retirement. Who does that?
Mhm. Fact.
Right? Who even speaks that kind of way to the youth of the day anyway? When all along, those kids need to be understanding how all this right here works, the importance of all this data up here, how it truly works, so they don't have to fall snare and victim to it. Right?
Fact.
That's leveling up. That's how you change a dynamic or a generation, literally, overnight. It's a concerted effort, but it takes a whole lot of unselfish people to realize the power within that. And a lot of our people are still wanting to hold on to, I don't know, kind of dead logic, in a lot of ways, right? It just
Mhm.
it's not going to get, it's not going to get us anywhere collectively under that perspective. So again, shout out to the builders, right? Shout out for those who are getting ready to build, right? You don't have to already be a builder to be in a preparatory state. It doesn't. You're not less of a person because of it either. You're just on your way now, right? You got
Mhm.
tired of sick and tired of the rat race and all the other stuff and the foodness. Now it's time to what? It's time to get down to business, right? So yeah, this clock ain't gonna stop. This thing went up exponentially. I mean overnight,
Fact.
right? It just,
Fact.
man, phew.
28 trillion. God, dog.
Just last couple years alone, yeah, a year and a half, we done added another a seven, almost 7, 8, or eight plus to that clock. It typically
Mhm.
takes at least 3 presidents to equal that value that we didn't put up in almost less than a year. Let that marinate for a moment.
Facts.
And guess who got the most, but the bulk of that debt passed on to them. Those who don't got money gonna carry the burden of that all that new debt.
Facts.
Smart people leveraged off of it and took the money off the top, but they didn't need it in terms of the wealth gap hauling, and left the poor people stuck holding the bag because they knew how to leverage chaos and opportunity.
Uh,
They used this pandemic to fatten up their wallets,
mhm.
and the majority of people were like, "I'm just waiting on the government. I'm just waiting on to go back to work. I don't know what else to do." And forbid you got the unemployment, the boost of the unemployment on top of the government, and you didn't even leverage that.
Crazy.
Forbid you didn't leverage that free money. Woo.
And even the government officials they was, doing trades. Shoot, Nancy Pelosi husband
Man, look,
making a killing.
I'm joking with man. You think look, all right, Joe gonna learn. Joe gonna learn, man. They gonna learn one way or the other, right? These people here to get paid. They're not here to save
Crazy.
you and your district and all this, that, and the third. Don't get caught up in all that old TV, politics, right? No, this is about opportunity, leveraging opportunity, right? So, that's just the reality, man. So again, all this debt right here, all, the different perspectives of what going to, this country. I mean, look at the U.S. federal tax revenue value as opposed to the debt. Look at that ratio. Are you kidding me?
Crazy.
They said the average citizen in America at least should be able to produce at least about 10 grand of revenue value. But the average debt per citizen is around about 85,000. Ain't paying attention.
But 75 grand in the hole.
In the hole out the gate, and the average debt per taxpayer is at 226,000.
That's crazy, man.
That means if he own a couple things, right? Signed the contract and got a QC number or something. Boy, Juggle don't want to work. And they think they can just work their way underneath from underneath that. The long way. The long way, right? They're gonna take the long way home. Man, you better get you some multiple streams of income underneath your belt and learn how to come from underneath all that mountain of debt. Again, any given day, you can wipe out literally all your debt. And that's what I love about the market. Again, any given day, you can wipe your entire debt out in one trade, one investment. That's the craziness of this, right? You ain't worry about hitting the lottery. You're gonna do it the right and proper way. Let that money turn over, naturally and thoroughly the ways it should do in a proper investment. Game plan, portfolio, whatever. And then again, just learn how to eat off your what? Eat off your investments. All right, let me move on. Let me cut that off because I don't want to start then. Let me cut that on off. Go upstairs and get me some old rabbit food. Let me just chill out.
Yeah.
What's going on, over Brandon? Peace, power, private, over.
Peace, family. Peace. Can y'all hear me?
Peace, Brandon. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah,
brother.
we got you. We got you.
Man, it's crazy enough. You talk about second streams of income. I just walked out of the grocery store and I seen this white guy loading up on pop, and he has a van outside, like a little refrigerator van or truck or just loading up there. And I know he's going to this baseball game right up the street.
Already.
Hey.
The same way you
want.
Hey, man, look, Jokers ain't ready for that, man.
Like,
Jokers ain't too good for that.
Probably selling like a $2.
You know what? He probably is because pop is on sale right now. And I'm like, man, I bet he's going right up here, double that up, and make a good, $4,000-5,000.
Think about this. If a Joker can go to an NFL game or NBA game and pay about $8 or $9 for a 16-ounce beer, are you kidding me? See the power of margin when people, again, that's how this stuff works. I tell people every day it's crazy because people that made a killing and understand even how dry shipping works. The store Five Below, man, Five Below made a lot of people $100,000 a day and they're millionaires. Stop playing. Put those same products on the $5, post them on Etsy, Shopify, Amazon, eBay, whatever, and mark the price up an extra what? $2, $3 or $4 because people are lazy. They don't want to go dry these places and turn around and show them same products. See, it's stuff like that. It's all about how bad you want it, though. See, some people just they looking for an excuse. They looking for a way to say I don't want to do the work. And that's the part because again, we all fell victim to it at some point because we're like, man, what's the use if they're gonna keep stealing it from me, take it from me? But at some point, you gotta say, you know what? Whatever, right? It's like whatever, come for me, right? I'm gonna find a way, right? That's where a lot of us are. We hit that point and like, you know what, man, forget it, man. Look, not today, Mr. Charlie, not today. All right, we're gonna find our way, right? So shout out again to those people who took a chance on themselves. We keep saying that because it's just that serious. You have to take a chance on yourself. What better person than yourself? You know you better than you know anybody else. Yourself, self-preservation. Right. So yeah, man. Look, man. Yeah, Brandon. You already know he didn't. Man, look. He gonna take that same little flip, right? and yeah, look at him.
Yep, that same, sugar water and flip it.
That's all it is. Sugar water purple. Like Dave Chappelle say, what's in that? What's that stuff in the back of the refrigerator?
What was it?
What's in it? Sugar water purple. Yeah, that purple drink. That purple drink. What's in it? Sugar water purple. Right? What's purple? That's a new flavor. It's called purple. Make a killing off of it. True story.
So guys, with the market being the way it is, in terms of just being the way it is right now, I haven't been on for a minute. I've been busy trying to rebrand myself. What is the direction that you guys are recommending focusing on now?
Well, again, just based upon the economic data,
Uh,
this thing what we got today, again, being able to kind of track the monetary system, that's pretty much tell you where the market's gonna go, right? He who controls the biggest bag control the direction of the market,
Follow the
Mhm.
money.
right? So we like to say follow the money. Uh, if there's any imbalance or rebalance or outflow, excessive outflow or inflow, therein lies exactly where the sentiment, right, of our value is going to kind of be dictated by, right? Whether we sit on our hands, whether we add a little dry powder, or whether we just kind of kick back, whatever, kind of just kind of play the rebound. But stationary value wise, we know that there's three layers of opportunity within the market, right? Growth value or what? Or legacy, right? Well, there's a fourth one now that's been coined because of Wall Street, the Wall Street bets crew. They added another layer to the market, right? What is that new layer called? Anybody?
Hmm.
It's called momentum.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
old, but it's new because now they bring a whole new dynamic of capital out of the blue to a marketplace where they can just turn numbers and move the market just like the market makers used to and the hedge funds do.
Like what they did with the GameStop.
And GameStop, AMC, you name them. Any stock that they feel like they want to go against Wall Street against that has a high short interest, that becomes a new what? Opportunity. Now it's short and it's existent, or it can become long if you really like the stock. Like your buddy said, I like the stock, right? Roy and Kitty, right? Doesn't matter, but nonetheless, again, we always say from a basic rudimentary perspective is what we always follow the what? The money. And so that's a really great way to model your investment. We're not talking about the traders here. We're not even speaking to the traders here. We're speaking to even the investor, right? Because within that, if they come to your doorstep with that same momentum stuff, right? You might say, man, we don't need all that fuss over here, just leave our stock alone. But when they come, if they do come, what's gonna happen? Right? You're gonna see your share structure grow overnight for good, bad, or whatever. Whether you feel like it's bad because you're making extra money, but nonetheless, that's another ancillary extra layer that we now have to kind of look forward to in our marketplace. But for the most part, putting it in layman terms, Sister O'Neat, we're kind of stuck in a crucible moment. Again, based on even the data we got today with the Fed, is that the market is pretty much at a what? At an inflection point, right? Are we going to rotate back into growth? Or is there still room for value stocks to still kind of feast a little bit before we get some last little tidbits of data points that's going to come out, let us know whether or not this inflation is really transitory or not? Hence the words of the Federal Reserve Chair, not my words. His word is transitory. That means it's going to work itself out over time once the labor force obviously gets back to work. But we know as well as anybody, a catastrophe like COVID, how it hit, it left a lot of people off the market for good. A lot of people ain't never going back to work, right? So those plugs gonna have to get what? The holes gonna have to get filled. Those plugs gonna have to get patched or whatever, right? So that's why they're trying to find them some new citizens. In come all the illegal undocumented immigrants, right? Right? Again, America is y'all know how America works. We ain't it's no whatever. We know the deal, right? But the great thing about that is understanding for us is like, okay, well, let them go through all that, let them play those games. Ultimately, I'm still going to make sure that my mandate is going to be relegated to where the money flowing is inside of the marketplace. Because again, that's what makes up any economy. It's goods and it's services. Period. That's the marketplace. If you learn how to compartmentalize that angle of things, then you'll be okay. Because you always can say, you know what? Okay, I got this $100, this thousand, this 10,000, 100,000, whatever. If there's a value where people say, okay, I like this value over another. I mean, this sector, this industry, this whatever over another, because right now, this seems to be the most, I guess, quote unquote, secure level of money placement. Then it is what it is. It could be seasonal, cyclical, whatever. Here they going tomorrow, right? Ultimately, over time, we do understand that growth always supersede value and legacy and momentum. I repeat, growth is always going to supersede value, legacy, or momentum. So if you do find a company that's bought that life and they got the products to prove it, then guess what? You're going to be good regardless because markets have up and downs like anything in life. like even relationships. The great thing about it, over time, they work themselves out
So
one way or
just
the other.
so just like Acorn getting ready to IPO because they did such a great job bringing people in to their platform.
And they were just behind the scenes for a long time, and Robinhood kept getting all the shine, but Acorn being, getting it in.
Yep.
Before you even think about all the other new apps that came out, N1 and Moo, and there's so many of them now. So it's so many. But the great thing about it again is that, like we know, like I say, those companies who just been again not trying to do more, no more than what they feel like they're capable of being able to produce. Those been the ones who've been kind of steadily gaining, building out that moat, as we like to say, that moat, that security, extra layer of security around them and their business model. Right. So we know without doubt when we have this conversation, we use the Warren Buffett thesis, right? You should not think about holding a stock for 10 seconds if you don't plan on holding it for 10 years. And I'm only saying that if it's an ideal of a company that's really about that life. We're not talking about some fly by night company just because you like it, that you feel like everybody else got like. We talking about a company that actually got what? Results, right? Who have the benefit of really having a better mousetrap to offer to the general public. Those are the companies that you say, okay, you know what? Right now they may not be popping, but guess what? Every dip, every layer of a 5%, 7%, 10% drawdown, I'm adding to it. Right? That's the power of principal based investing, because at some point when they rebound, right, or when they take off, what's gonna happen? All that aggregate value that you've been adding to it is gonna be like a pressure cooker effect. And guess what? You're gonna reap the benefits like we did with some of these vaccine stocks.
Excuse me, I'm gonna step in. I have to go move my car and come right back.
No worries, no worries.
Okay, I'll be right back.
So, but that's just it, guys. So you guys in the back chat listening in, or just in general, that's pretty much what we assess every day. We're not mathematicians and statisticians and all this stuff. We're just people who understand product and services.
That's what I was gonna say based on her question when she said what we were gonna do. I can remember when when I first really got serious with being transparent and doing some investments, and you would say, it's not a microwave. You got to do your due diligence, look at your technicals, look at your fundamentals, choose stocks of value, and then you showed some different ways to kind of look at it: the dividend perspective, the um where I want to go with that, growth, it being a growth
Mhm.
company but not it's trading writing up.
Right.
What was another thing that I held
Is
on
the
to?
value play,
Right.
the ideal of even cyclical nature, right? Seasonal companies that do well during certain
Right.
seasons.
Right. And so when I look back, when I looked at see what the market was doing, I look back at my portfolio. I had already revamped to making sure, the things that I was interested in, which was making sure that I looked at the performance over the year. And I had my ultimate goal was to 3 to 8% anywhere within that, I was fine. And then that it was a dividend. And so as long as it was growing and it was doing really well, I was fine. So whatever the market was doing, even when it dropped, because some of these companies were outperforming in last year 30, 40, 60 percent. So I figured, if it's over, if it's probably at its peak, and even if we had some type of catastrophe or some type of catalyst that caused it to drop and dip, I wouldn't move my position. I would just stand still, stay fast, based off what we've learned, based on historical data, going back and look, now I'm really starting to look at the quarters to start trying to make some quarterly, some of the on the earnings plays, looking at the previous quarters, looking at what is done in the previous quarter, what is done last year this time, and really being able to pay attention to our peak to trough. I've been paying attention in class, so I'm not
I
even
hear it. I hear it. I ain't gotta say. I'm like,
but
yep. I just like, yep.
yeah, because
Yeah.
I'll look at a simple FinViz, I'll look at a chart on FinViz, and I'm like, okay, I can work this, and I'll go back to the previous year. I go to my trading view and look at the previous year, see how it's working. I'm cool with that much knowledge and growth. And then the more I add on that I'm comfortable with making moves with, then I would. So, getting to that first 100K, whenever that is, I'm fine. I got that goal. I got that time frame. I know what I'm working with. And say, okay, the more I can learn or comprehend and be able to capitalize on it, then I'll work that. But in the meantime, I have my my one objective. I understand it. I can talk the talk. I can show it, and I can actually make a move on it. So I'm good with that part. And so now, I said, okay, I'm kicking Andre's little kick and say, okay, now if I start to do my how do you guys say that? When you add in when it pulls back, or
Dollar cost average.
dollar cost average. Yeah. When I'm doing now I'm dollar cost averaging in so that I can build on my dividends. My dividends coming back in. So I'm fine with where I'm at with some of the companies that I have, and I make a day trade here or there if I want to. But I'll tell people, my perspective and how I'm moving is not going to be yours. And so you have to find your space. You have to find your space in what you want to do and how you want to go. I'll do that. Give it here. Oh. And how you want to move and what makes you comfortable. And then after a while, when you start to see the impact on your in your fintech accounts, your investment portfolios, man, you get excited because I always was waiting to see what I invested that my profits either equal or exceeded. And so I'm like super excited. I say I wouldn't show my accounts no more. So I can't show y'all, but you can hear it in my voice. That stuff is real. And I remember when AE said, boy, when you start to see that thing, you're going to get, oh man, it's going to be on it. So some people who are not investing, I'd be like, you're scared now. I remember that point. But boy, just drop you 5 or 10 every pay period. When you start to see that thing grow, trust me, you're going to want to know more. So you have to pick your own interests.
Right. And that's all it is. It's no more than you did it if you got paid on the job and you say, I'm gonna take a little bit out that don't go to the other budget stuff and put some money in my savings account. Guess what? Divert that from that big savings account and divert it right to an income producing income asset like a stock investment, fractional share ownership, or whatever. That's all you're doing. You ain't doing nothing different. You just directing it to a better, fertile soil. Simple as that. Right? And just still be like, like pulling teeth. Like, no, it ain't that complicated. Take a deep breath. It's money, right? The same way you probably had it once, you can get it again, right? So don't be feeling like, just because, like we like, be indifferent to it. Understand, money don't care who controls it or wields it. It doesn't. It has a purpose to serve a purpose, period. It's not emotional. It don't care whether you attach to it or not. It don't care. It's gonna cheat on you. It's gonna lie. It's gonna do whatever. It's gonna do whatever it wants to get freely to go out there and do what it was designed to do. So you may as well understand that dynamic and realize that it has to serve a purpose. Utilize it for that purpose to go back and bring back other monies, right? All right, that's what it's for. Send it to work, put it to work, and let it go work for you. So $5 a day. We just start out using that same model, right? If you just learn how to put away $5 a day, right, times 365 days of the year, how much is that at the end of the year? That's like $1,800 in just what they call principal-based saving. That's majority of people's Christmas right there. If they just learn how to put away $5 a day, so that way you got to scramble do it all at the end of the year. That's simple. Now imagine if you got a spouse, 5 and 5. Now it's 10, right? That's like over $3,700 or something like that a year in just what they call principal-based investing. Just putting away $5 a day between you and your spouse. Now imagine if you put that into an investment value that can yield you at least a minimum of 2, 3, 4, 5%. That extra kicker, like she said earlier, that extra little layer, that little kicker, where your money gonna grow because it's in a fertile stock or a soil that says, you know what, we'll pay you a little extra for putting it into the pot of this equity stake that you want to attack in this company. We talking about minimum 1 to 2, 3%. Forbid you get on one and it just run up what? Like we've been seeing some of this stuff, especially with COVID, 30, 40, 50%, 100+%. Look, you won't have ability to take advantage of it until you get your feet wet. Either way you look at it. You got to get your hands dirty. It ain't gonna just happen. You sitting there hoping it'll happen, and scared to kind of open up your first brokerage account or get some knowledge on what to do and learn to understand, technical knowledge or fun. Whatever the case, whatever that keeps you on the sideline to keep you apprehended, it's gonna be the one thing to keep you from hitting your goals the way that you know you really need to. because you got to figure out a way to get you some other money coming in, void of you having to work for it, punch a clock for it, or ask for it. It's literally that simple. So people again are saying, you know what, man, get out of here with all that savings account, garbage talk. Don't come to me talking about no savings account, right? I'm gonna tell you to go somewhere. You tell me, come on, we talking about some savings. Savings what? You better get out of here. You better put that money to work, right? And realize that wealth is created by ability to accrue interest off the money that you already have worked for. You don't have to. You shouldn't have to double work for money once you get it the first time. It really is that basic. It's hard for people to comprehend it, but it really is that basic. All right, so put that $5 into that investment account. Buy you some fractional shares, $1 worth, like you saying when you used to buy gas back in the day when it was that cheap, right? When it was that cheap. Put the dollar on it, $2 on it, a couple dollars on it. Just keep adding, keep adding, keep adding. Eventually, it's gonna what? It's gonna keep growing. Right? One day they're gonna hear you, Sister Monica. One day they're gonna hear you.
I know. Look, I went and got it. Chris had told me about it too, but I had just did it right because with PPP, everybody was getting QuickBooks to pay their employees. Man, I had gotten it. I got a share. I said, I'm buying a share. Forget that drama. I bought a share, and that bad boy is. I bought it at $400, and that bad boy went to $470. I said, "Whoa, just that fast." Just that fast, it had jumped up because I had seen. I was like, okay, I see. Because Intuit, I don't know if y'all seeing it, but they started a bank.
Yeah. We were right there dropping a lot of them articles.
Yep.
That was the power of people saying, "Let me what? Let me basically morph my business," because everything now is starting to come what they call prepackaged.
Yep.
Even business models become prepackaged. So you got to figure out a way to what? Upgrade your business model to equate. You think Ford sat around saying, okay, look, we just gonna keep doing it? They jumped that EV space. You think these fintech companies that were kicking butt, taking land like Square, and how PayPal even grew, morphed their business? You think these banks like old banks like Citibank and all the PNC weren't gonna try to figure out a way to get in the game too? Right? Because all they did was the new companies came out and reverse engineered the old. That's how evolution works in terms of business. There's no new product under the sun, right? It's about trying to find a better mousetrap that was already invented. So you have to learn how to reverse engineer somebody else's structure and make it just that little bit more better. That's all it is. It really is based upon that, right? The cure for cancer is still yet to be public, right? Right. So even in that perspective, biotech, right? There's a lot of players in that space, right? And there's several different types of cancer, right? There's not no one size fit all. There's different types of issues and ailments, even on that perspective, right? And everybody vying to be the front runner in that regard, or if not, at least in the top tier where they can get a lot of market share. Think about that. This Alzheimer drug that just came out by Biogen last week, right? This infamous Biogen drug that been going back before the review board several times to get passed by the FDA. It was passed because of what they call political pressure, because that's a major issue in America in terms of Alzheimer, right? But here's how dirty the game is. They barely got FDA approval, barely. The stock shot up over $100 off the news, right? Turned around, the next press release by the CEO was that they was going to price the treatment for that Alzheimer drug at $56,000 a head. You see how greedy? You think these people care about your well-being? Are you kidding me? To them, it's all about the bag. And it's always been about the bag, and it's going to always be about the bag. And if the saying goes, you can't beat them, you may as well join them. And if you don't want to join them, don't complain about them, because they're going to always continue to do what they've been doing. Getting paid, robbing, stealing, however they want, but legally. The goal is to say, you know what? Okay, there are certain things I may not want to be a part of because of ethical reason. That's fine. That's what the market is vast and broad. They even got stocks out there that meet your demand in that space called ESG, environmental social governance stocks. Stocks that fit your criteria. They even got LGBTQ stocks you can invest in. True story. So they got something for everybody, is my point.
When I
right?
seen that, I thought I was double looking.
Yeah, they got stocks for LGBT community, ETFs and all. So that tells you right now that, again, you're talking about a marketplace that just what it is. It's a global marketplace for a reason. That's why they call it the global marketplace. You participate in it one way or the other, whether you like it or you don't. That's what's crazy about it. If you buy something, if you bought something off of online, off a store shelf, whatever, you participated. Ain't that something? And then you convince yourself, nah, I don't want to do it the other way though. I'm trade. I just want to keep buying. And, all right, well, each his own. To each his own. But for us, as for me in my house, we're gonna serve these investments. Right there, I'm gonna serve the Lord. No, we're gonna serve these investments. Right? As
Hey,
far as me and my house, we're gonna serve these investments.
hey, you got to do another one of them little preaching moments.
The tabernacle, boy, don't make me joke. Look at it. It's coming. It's coming. But no doubt, Sister Monica, again, your growth has been, I mean, just extraordinary. All right, Sister Angie, everybody on here, we all been, growing. And again, like I've always said, the great thing about this is you get better with time. See, that's what's so great about it. That's what's scary about it. I told y'all this years ago. I said, you know what? You don't look. Look, just give yourself a couple years or so. You're gonna get better with time. It's gonna scare you.
It did.
It's gonna scare you.
I thought about them years in 2016, 17 when y'all was looking at Bitcoin and it was that cheap. And I thought $2,000 was too much money.
$1,200, it was at $1,200, $1,800. That thing went all to 65 racks and change. Man, joking around here playing around. That been less than how many years? 4 years. See, jokers, boy, see, jokers, man, all right, I'll just be quiet. But y'all get it. But some point is the light bulb gonna go off. But yeah, that's fine because again, we're patient, we're humble. We're just saying, hey, come one, come all, come as you are. We don't judge. We don't care about all what you got, what you don't have. All we care about is like, are you hungry? Because information is what is there. We don't own it. We don't control it. We can't sell you nothing that we do not own. So that's what makes it even more better because you can't pull that crab in the barrel syndrome of saying we just trying to get money out of black people. No, we don't. We don't own the stock market. Right? We do not. Right? So it's every man's for himself environment that equals or what they call levels the playing field. That's the part of the game where black people sitting there trying to convince themselves, no, I'd rather still go wait on again somebody else or Mr. Charlie or John. No, level the line and play on that field. Right along with those guys. Right?
Yes.
So
but
eventually we'll get there.
I said, some people they'd be like, oh, but I don't want to sit and watch charts and this, that, whatever. And I'm like, this is why we show you the basics where if you understand just the growth, if you just look at the chart and say, okay, I will put a couple dollars here, put it over here, you look at that, you can understand just that much by looking at that chart.
And you don't have to babysit it.
And you don't have to babysit it. Like you could see it all times when I pulled up that into it. I'm like, since its inception, like what part of that don't you understand? So since you're crying about $500, then do 5. And then let it go. You can't, and then let it come out your account because if you don't, you're gonna cry about putting it in. Don't let it hit your account. Let it transfer in.
Right. That way you feel like you had nothing to do with it.
Hey, Miss Jackie.
You had nothing to do with it. Like, no, you're not even the picture. We just already did it for you. Don't even worry about it. We got it. It's so true. So yeah, I'm excited what's gonna come, the next year, the year after that, and what's many more to come. Like I said, you get better with time with this, guys. That's what's so excited about it. That's what's so scary about it. You get better with time. The fact that you plug and prod at this thing and pick at it like a scab, you only gonna figure out a better way to what? Again, get what they call your financial healing underway and a more thorough perspective. Right? Because knowledge is definitely power, and power obviously equals what? Profit. Right? That's the value of power and profit for us. It's a simple diagram. Right? You will never be able to obtain power without having proper knowledge, and you will not be able to reap the benefits of that power, right? All right, or the profit until you have proper power structure, right? Again, the confidence, right? The know-how, right? That's power, right? The equal profit would be to get a bag or a haul or whatever you want to say. It's simple. You just have to look at it for what it's worth. Be patient with yourself. Don't try to over exceed yourself. Don't try to do things that you know you're not comfortable being able to kind of account for. Stay in your lane and learn gradually. Don't go out there trying to feel like you got to trade with the best of them and chase everybody and chase every stock. No, stay confined to what you're capable of doing. Find your own niche or niche, but steal from everybody and go out there and build your own path. That's what the greatness about the market. It's so many different aspects to it. You don't never have to follow anybody's particular necessarily blueprint. You can make it comfortable to exactly your time, your monetary value, your principles, whatever the case. The market is vast. How many publicly traded companies out there? Like thousands of them, right? So again, just be confident of that and just let your money work.
That's great advice.
Ashe, sis. Yeah, so you guys are great testaments to that too. So that's why I tell people, man, look, all right, again, 10 years from now, everybody else on this panel and everybody else out there, even on YouTube side, you guys are gonna be keeping that message alive. See, because you don't have to have certification to be able to share this information. We're not talking about the investment advice, right? Which we can't, disclaimer, we can't give you financial advice, but we can give you what? Actionable intel to go out there and make your own decision by. See how that works? Right. Now imagine if the government really gave the game up that way like they're supposed to. They know doggone well we'll flip script on them overnight. That's the only thing really holding black people back. We got all the skills, but not the ones that really pay the bills the right way. Right? Yep. Meaning the controlling the aspect of it, right? Meaning sitting on the other side of the of the board. That's the only thing we're waiting to do. So, eventually we'll get there. But in the meantime, that's all right. We'll use Tesla. We'll use Apple. We'll use Boeing. We'll use all these, Novavax. We'll use Moderna. We'll use all these little players, right, to help us build up our little bag so we can make those moves. Right? And Bitcoin ain't going to zero. I would forget about it. I hate to hurt your feelings if you think Bitcoin going to zero. It ain't.
It ain't.
It's here to stay.
It ain't my fault.
Right? It ain't my fault. Right? They're like, man, it's a scam. Y'all about that Bitcoin. Man, I get it, bro. Yeah. I know things that you're not used to scare you, but that's all right. That's all right. If people got billions of dollars invested in it, you think they're finna just turn over overnight saying, no, I don't want to do this no more? All right. Get excited. So I'm gonna humbly bow down for a minute, guys. Go upstairs and eat me a little dinner at a sensible hour. Thank y'all. Thank the panel. Thank everybody on YouTube. Thank the family. Thank Garfield for allowing us to come on the platform as always. Go subscribe to Sister Monica's channel, Monica Lamb's YouTube channel. Go subscribe to Chris Logic's YouTube channel. Right? Definitely subscribe to my channel, African Important Verbatim. Any other sisters on here that got a channel, Brother Brand, I know you're gonna start one at some point. Again, support your tribe.
Yep.
Right. Let's help each other, right? Because again, a like is free and a subscription is free. Cost you nothing. Just push your button and you're on your way.
Right.
So thank y'all. Good. Thank y'all, my peers. Thank y'all, humble. I'm bowing down to y'all right now. Y'all probably can't see me. Right. I'm over in the dark. I didn't work hard all day. Didn't have some training. I'm gonna come on and cut down for 2 seconds. I'm in the dark over here. Right. There we go. I'm bound to y'all, bound to my peers over here, bound to my peers, bound to y'all, right? Because y'all deserve it. So thank y'all.
Are you back next week? Next Wednesday?
Yeah, I think it's Sister Monica. Look at it. See that guy right there? Y'all see that guy right there in the corner right there in that screen right there? Right? That's my battle mate right there. So y'all understand that's a battle mate right there, right? That guy, they're one of the hardest working guys that y'all ever know, right? So
we out here, baby.
Shout out to my brother David in the house, right? I see him over there working, right?
Hey, check me out. Hey, check me out, OG.
Look at that. Products, right?
Beautiful.
Products, baby. You see it? Products.
Put it again. I didn't see it that well. Let me open up my screen.
Hold up. Wait up. Hold on.
Do it again.
Hold on.
Beautiful.
Wait.
Look at that.
Wait, you gotta mute your mic so mine can pick up.
Oh, my bad, my bad.
Shoot. It's not. Hold on.
Look at my man Willis, man. I love you, bruh. I love you, bruh.
I love you back, bro. You already know it, man. To the moon. Right? And then when we hit the moon, then we can start thinking about Jupiter and everybody else.
Hey, what he say?
Nah, I'm trying to buy my spacesuit.
That's it,
To
right?
the moon. I'm trying to buy my spacesuit. We going to the moon.
They think about Richard Branson and Elon Musk ain't gonna be, Jeff Bezos ain't gonna be the only one going. We're gonna be going right along with them, right along with them.
I'm getting my spacesuit.
Shout out over David in the building, making moves, brother. Love it, man. I love it. Love it, over.
We got the hold on, let me show y'all. We got the Juneteenth tomorrow in Lithonia. I mean, that's tomorrow. I'm sorry. In
On Saturday.
Hold up. Oh shoot.
I got some Juneteenth t-shirts coming as well, you guys, and they'll be available tomorrow. They look amazing.
There we go. Juneteenth, Lithonia.
Very nice.
11 to 4 in Lithonia with the city of the Lithonia and the AME church. So they have a big celebration down in the ATL area. And then that evening, the firework display right up the road at Collision. So we'll be out there all day. Hopefully I see Unc and Ujau and Thunder and Kyle and all them. They're supposed to come out and support.
That's gonna be beautiful. That's gonna be powerful, man. I already know you guys gonna, man, make history, and man, I can only imagine. So I'll be there with y'all in energy, of course, in that regard, and I know it's gonna be successful because of the fact that not only is that our day, right? Because y'all know it ain't no secret. You know, y'all probably been watching the political landscape. They somewhat voted on making it a national holiday. It should have been one. But y'all know how America works, right? They late to everything that has to do with Black people, what restitution and reparation. So we understand reparative justice is gonna come from the back of our hands at the end of the day. But for the most part, when they do give us something, we ain't happy for it. We just gonna say it was ours from the beginning. Anyway, we're gonna make the best of it. So shout out to everybody that's gonna be a part of the Juneteenth, excursions and celebratory aspect. And my energy gonna be with you all because, again, legally it's ours, literally not, right? Legally it's ours. It's been ours, but legally it's ours, right? And so it should be the day that Black people pockets should run over with cash, right? So go support a Black business and nothing else on Juneteenth. If nothing else, support a Black business. If nothing else.
Yes, definitely yes. So I think they got a march in Atlanta, downtown Atlanta. Lord Abba, Be the Power. They're gonna be down there. Hopefully they come through where we are. Hopefully I see them as well. So make sure you guys out supporting. My t-shirts is rethink it, unlearn. Let me bring those up real quick. I'm doing a scholarship fundraiser with my shirts. So if you guys want to buy one, I have 2 students I need to award. These students are working really hard. I'm super impressed with a lot of them and what they're doing. It's really cool because they have their entrepreneur spirit. They're not really jumping on the college bandwagon unless it's some kind of tech school. So I'm with it. I'm trying to show them as much as I can. I want to put together some PowerPoint, some Microsoft Office classes for some students because I'm noticing like they have the work ethic, but they're missing some of the skill sets that they're gonna need in their businesses. And I wanna try to make sure that I kind of help them out a little bit. So this next the classes that I'm gonna have coming up is gonna be for anybody, but preferably if you have young adults who are interested in learning Microsoft Suite. So I have some books. This is crazy. I still have my books from way back. The how-to books. I still have those, and I'm going to use them. I'm going to use those because the upgrade on the application as far as the interfaces probably changed, but where you find the information is still the same. File is still file, review is still review. you know, format is still format, that kind of thing. And so I want to show them just some simple how to set up a spreadsheet, how to set up a PowerPoint, how to set up a word, type of Word document. I'm not even going to go all advanced with it. It's going to be very simple because a lot of them, there's some small business. Matter of fact, I'm gonna show that too. Let me send it to my email. There is a job fair for 14 to 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds. Our brother Representative Dr. Johnson, who is one our representative District 80 here in South Carolina in Columbia, he's hosting this, and he has a lot of companies coming out. So if you all are in the Columbia, South Carolina area and you have a 14 to 20-year-old, these companies are coming out to hire your babies for the summer. Okay, so they did a really good job putting this together. On Friday, I won't be here. I wanted to be here to support and break some students, but I've already given my 5. They're gonna be at the location, so I was gonna help them get their resumes so that they can be able to present. The Urban League always hires teens during the summer, and what better way to have someone who speaks for you? And Representative Johnson, he's young and out there to support the young people. So you guys make sure you get on out. Let me show you this flyer real quick. Oh, and I got all my emails up so you guys can see it. So if you out there, out here in Columbia, here it is. Or if y'all know someone, Representative Jermaine Johnson, he's gonna be hosting this one. And it's Friday, June 18th from 10 a.m. to 1:45. It's gonna be at Eastover Park, right? Down in the Lower Richland area. That's his district. And so if you need a summer job, age 14 to 21, okay? So they're gonna have resume building and dress for success workshop, interview skills and dress for success at 11:15, 12:15, resume building and dress for success. So your babies are gonna be able to learn something while they're out there. Those young adults you have out there. So you got South Carolina Department of Employment and Workforce, the career coach gonna be out there, the comment, South Carolina Department of Juvenile Justice, Richland County Coroner's Office, Richland County Sheriff's Office, Richland County Recreation Commission, the International Paper, Fox Farms, U.S. Army Recruiting, Richland School District 1, Columbia Urban League, and Palmer Funeral Home, and First Command Financing. All of them are going to be out there on Friday. And so you guys need to hit that link and RSVP. I have this on my Facebook page. So if you need to put it on your Facebook page, you can share it from my Facebook page. Make sure you bring a driver's license or a school ID or a state ID. Okay. And so these are governmental agencies who are hiring. So you want to get your people out there and hey, somebody's doing something in their district. And so let's give a shout out to Dr. Johnson. He's doing pretty good work in his district. Young Black African American who's for the people. Okay. So I'm gonna be back in a few hours because I'm interviewing a SAR at 11:30. So I'm gonna give you guys a break. Y'all go do what you do. If you're still awake, we're doing it late because he gets off late. So, but I wanted to get this out before the weekend Juneteenth because I want to build off of what we if you're having a small business, what we should be doing and how do we not allow our businesses die off with the person who established it. How do you transfer knowledge? How do you build the legacy? How do you transfer information? Why is it important? Getting your kids involved early on so that they can be able to take on it and you can advise them while you're still alive. So those things, so on your buildings, it could say established on this date or, or on that date. So, and we can have companies that when these catastrophes, and I hate to say it this way, but it is what it is. When these catastrophes happen, we're getting ready to come up on hurricane season here shortly, right? when these natural disasters come through and these contractors come through your area, most of the time they're not from your state. And the reason they're not from your state, because in your state, those contractors are not government certified. They're not certified in the certifications. They're not registered with FEMA. They don't have the relationship with the insurance companies. They don't know any adjusters. I need to get brother Kenneth Stokes on here. He's an adjuster with a lot of natural disasters, things of that nature in the Kansas area. So I want to line up a few interviews. Get brother Africaporia, line up some folks. Chris, get your boy September or whatever, and get some real good interviews going on for the next few months. And let's get some people, their foundations of their businesses in order. In particularly, my focus is going to be from the administrative perspective, HR, and the finance side of the house, making sure your books is right, making sure you're on board properly. Because when you looking to expand and build big businesses, we're not looking to have just a fly-by day. Okay, if you're just an individual, that's cool. But if you got a family, your family got to eat. And if you're not teaching them how to invest in stock, bonds, and real estate, then guess what? You're going to have to get another avenue. And some of you guys just prefer to do business, instead of, just investing and being a day trader. Some of you just prefer to be grinding and be out in the trenches or whatnot. I didn't want to be, I had pulled away, but I got sucked into the smoothies. So here I am all over again, back with boots on the ground. But it's all good. So we learning, we teaching teens how to distribute, and hopefully I learn how to create our own MLM. You know how to do that, brother African Emporium?
See, it's all about replication. See, one thing about it, let's see, and this is where definitely, me and Oba David, of course, we come from, that environment, right? Mm-hmm. And we came from not necessarily the affiliate side of the house. We came from direct marketing, meaning we came directly from a product source or a service, right? In that aspect of that, learning how to, again, reverse engineer that model and, again, send it back out into community under your perspective. See, that's next level.
Yes.
Right? It's like, franchising a business model, right? Basically, how you do it, Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, whatever, right? Once you establish that, right, it's, again, that's the revolutionary aspect of where Black businesses are suffering, because we don't have what they call that kind of duplicated model where we can do that. Because, again, we don't have hospitals, the core essential things, right? Grocery stores, whatever, right?
Yes.
Core essential things that any institution or environment has to have, or a nation. So it starts in that lane that, again, what you're being able to do.
Yes.
Right? Because you can source it, you got a supply chain, you teach them how to access the stuff. All they gotta do is just go out there, follow the template, accessorize when it's necessary, but just duplicate it, and guess what?
Yes, he teaching me all that stuff too. I'm learning. I said, woo, by 2021, by 2022, man, well, the end of 2021, it's going to be a whole nother aspect of things. So it gave me something different to look forward to learning. Yeah. So look, I've been in my back office of my econ, paparazzi, like just Arise, just pulling all of their data.
See how that works? And see, the great thing about it, because you build a network, right? That network keeps, again, the idea that money in Black communities don't bounce around no more than 2-3 times is just in itself is just sacrilegious. It's just like blasphemy, right? That's where we're lacking, because our money's not bouncing thoroughly within our inside of our community or our environments, right? Our network. The fact that you can move across different asset classes, but just networks like that, and still be able to present them other aspects of your business. That's how you keep the concentration of the wealth growing.
Yes.
Right. But oh man, I
was like, I'm messing around. He could be here another hour.
Now, y'all get off here because I need to go eat too. Get me some, get some in my system. It's been an honor, man. Look, you guys are. I'd rather be in the trenches with no other people than you guys, my intellectual peers. Right, because I know you guys gonna put in that work. So shout out to everybody that's a doer, that's a builder, that's a grinder, that's a producer, distributor, or seller, and who realize the power in that, and they're trying to share it with other people who are necessarily afraid to even touch it. Right, so stay humble, stay hungry, and guess what? You're gonna reap your benefit.
Peace, power.
Shout out everybody. Peace, power, and profit to the family.
Peace, power, and profit. And I'll be back on 11:30. If anybody's up, y'all tune in. Peace.
Peace, everybody. Peace, family. Peace, everybody.